And we're live. What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. This is, I guess we have about one more stream before 3D Printopia, but man, the month has been going by so fast. It is just mind-blowing to me. I have so many projects that I need to get done, and they are all taking longer than expected, which should be expected at this point, but anyways, who's all here today? We've got Matt's here, Delmar's here, let's see, 3DPUK, hey, RH3D is nice and early, Walnut, Sparks here, Asker's in the house, Nura, I love fighting with PTG settings, can never get them to print nicely. Oh no. What are the issues you're having? With PTG, the biggest thing that gets me is PTG pulling up around the nozzle, and then at some point it forming enough to drip down into the part, and then in best case scenario you get just an ugly blob at some point in the print, and in worst case scenario your nozzle hits it and it causes a layer shift. So that's the one.
Friendly neighborhood mod, but I said that out loud in a Russian accent for some reason. Hope you're well though, ha ha.
Hey Jake, thank you very much for the donation. Friendly neighborhood modbot, I hope you are doing well. Yes, I'm doing quite well. Just working on a bunch of stuff here. The weather has finally turned into fall weather, so that's nice. It's been less hot. Fires have died down, which is awesome, and we had a couple good days. This last weekend, we went to a farmer's market on Saturday, and then Sunday we went for a small hike, which was fun. Jackson is now walking and was able to walk. It was a small, like, 1 mile loop, but Jackson was able to walk like a quarter mile in the trail, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, everything's going good here, just working on projects and trying to clean up a little bit. I know you guys can't really see much other than the area right here, but there's just like, there's stuff everywhere. It's chaos and I don't love it so much. Yes, definitely dry your PTG, but even with dry, like with PTG, I will always dry it, but I'll even sometimes print directly out of the dryer, like actively drying it while it's printing. And oops, some nozzles seem to do better than others, like brass seems really sticky. Even standard hardened steel seems pretty sticky. I've had pretty good luck with plated copper. I swapped over to I guess the Prisha's over there now. I swapped over to the E3D Obsidian on the Mark IV when I was doing a bunch of PTG printing, and it helped a little bit, but honestly not that much. I found myself still, like, after every print needing to get a brass brush and cleaning off any residual PTG. Otherwise, the next print would drip down. So I don't know. It doesn't always happen, but boy, when it does, it's pretty frustrating. Wasn't the FLSUN released a long while ago? Also, CM2 is great for PETG. I don't know that I've used the CM2 with PTG. I'm trying to think. I'm rocking the CM2 on the VZBot, which I've only done ABS and ASA on, I think. I'm using it on at least, I don't know if I'm using, no, I'm not using it on the K1 Max, am I? I think I've got it on 2 printers. I don't do a lot of PTG printing. I really don't. I did use it for the big bracket project for all the filament spools, but like generally speaking, it's PLA, ABS or ASA, and like an occasional TPU. PTG, I mean, not that I don't ever print with it, but just usually not the filament I grab. So, you asked if it was released a while ago. Yeah, I do think this was released quite a while ago, because if I remember correctly, I think that Flashforge reached out to me late last year asking if I wanted to take a look at one of these, and I just didn't have the availability in my schedule. But between the release of it and now, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on these machines. They've got a few variants. This is the 5M, which is the cheapest of their sort of small CoreXY 3D printers. Also, Flashforge did send this, so full disclosure, the only thing was they said they'd send it, but all the opinions are of my own. There's no, obviously they haven't seen the live stream, it's live. But yeah, they did provide the printer for us to take a look at, so I want to make sure I did say that. But yeah, so they've got a couple different options. The 5M, which is what we have here, is the cheapest of their bunch, which is why I was actually interested in it. We've looked at a few other low-cost CoreXY printers. I'm trying to think offhand which ones they are. We did the King Room, which was pretty disappointing. Peter! Man, thank you very much for the 5 gifted memberships, man. Cheers. Let's do air horn and cheer. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So yeah, we looked at the King Room, which was just disappointing. The screen was awful. The filament path was really rough. The screen was also inside the enclosure. The enclosure was, I think, so dark that you couldn't actually see inside of it. The bed was cantilevered in a really like unsupported way. It just was a letdown. And I think we looked at one other, I want to say we looked at one other budget CoreXY at one point. So I liked the price point on this. I feel like there's not a lot of competition in this sector. Like most of them are starting at $400-500 and then they go up from there. But they do have a few variants of it. So there's the 5M and then really there's the 5MP, which the 5MP is a bit, I kind of look at it as like, if we're comparing with bamboo, which everyone seems to do, like kind of the P1P versus a P1S. So with this, you get it fully enclosed. I think it's a little bit of a nicer screen. Let's see, what else is there? So they're claiming 600 millimeters per second and 20K Excel, while on this one they're claiming so same thing on there. So I think that the enclosure, do they have a side-by-side? Let's look at, I would love to see a side-by-side comparison of what all you're gaining aside from specs. Don't seem to do anything. Let's see, is there a, they've got these quick release nozzles. Excuse me. They are proprietary, but I've heard really good things about them. Look, they even have like, so you can upgrade this if you want to do, like the Panda, but a printable enclosure. So at least there is some kind of upgrade for it. But yeah, I'm curious to see if we do this and this. So 220 by 220 by 220. I think that it's really mostly the enclosure and a little bit of a nicer screen. So yeah, that's the same. So build volume's identical. I know that it's enclosed, so this one's enclosed. Top temp is still the same. Max speed appears to be the same. Display screen actually looks like it's the same. Platform temp 100 Celsius, both the same. 20K Excel, also the same. So it really seems like the main benefit is the enclosure. I wonder if is there an added side cooling fan? Do we have an auxiliary fan? I also assume that the HEPA filter is also just specific to this since it's enclosed. It looks like there might be an auxiliary fan, so you do get additional, yeah, there is. So you do get additional cooling as well on the left-hand side of it. I've heard good things about it. I know Zombie has one of them. I don't know if it's the I think it's the 5M Pro that he has, but I've heard pretty good things about these machines. So yeah, I like sort of seeing, I mean, we've looked at sort of the higher end of the desktop budget, okay. We've looked at the higher end of sort of the popular desktop style 3D printers for the most part. And we've looked at a few of the sort of more entry level, but yeah, I'm curious to see what this has to offer. So today's gonna be a pretty chill stream. The game plan is basically to get this out of the box, take a look at it. We've got our quick start guide, and just see what we think based off of our initial impressions. Next week, we will be starting our LDO positron build, which I'm very excited about. I've been cranking out parts, but I honestly haven't been super happy with the print quality. It is with the CookieCAD's like Unicorn ABS, and I'm going to try drying it to see if that improves it, but I don't know if the X1 Carbon has a partial clog that's just really small. I'm planning on swapping the hot end, doing a bunch of upgrades to the X1 Carbon actually. A lot of them aren't like truly necessary, but I'm curious to see if I swap the hot end, if that makes an improvement. But I ordered a second spool of it just because I've used a bunch of it printing out parts and sort of running some calibration stuff, and I'm still not totally stoked on the print quality. It's sufficient for the sake of building it, but I really want this thing to look gorgeous, so I have got another spool coming in tomorrow that I ordered from KB3D, and hoping I can get the parts looking a little bit cleaner. But regardless, we'll use what I've got by next Wednesday as we start the build. Oh. All right. Nice thing about this compared to the FLSUN we built last week is that this looks like it's pretty much fully assembled. It took quite a while. The T1, although I was overall pretty happy with the, excuse me, the first impressions, it was a lot more assembly than I was expecting. Are you doing the updated positron? I have no idea. It's the 3.2 with the, like, whatever comes in the LDO kit. So not the, no, if you're saying like, I know that there's someone tagged me in the unibody version, it's not going to be that. It's the LDO kit variant of it. Hey TJ, I've been looking for reliable and close printer for ABS parts. How is this one? How is this one? I have no idea. Okay, Pro is the exhaust filter, LED light enclosure, and auxiliary fan, and camera. Okay, so there's quite a few things then. So we've got a little bit of filament, just like last week. It's just high-speed PLA, burnt titanium. It's actually, oh man, I don't know if I'll be able to show this very well on camera. It looked like just a black, it's a really pretty filament. It's like a blue, it honestly looks to me like a metallic blue with a little bit of glimmer, or glitter in it. I don't know how well you can actually see it, but I wish it was a bigger spool. I don't think we'll end up using that tiny little bit. Hey Lisa! Batch 1, I think it's batch 2, Delmar. Should be batch 2. I think batch 1 had some issues with the hot end, right? I think that's what I was seeing a bit of. All right, we've got our touchscreen, which I didn't actually know initially it came with a touchscreen. I thought that this version had sort of like the P1P with the rotary knob. Standard power supply. Make sure to remove the XYZ locks used for shipping. Okay. Thank you for the heads up. Let's see what the instructions actually tell us how to unpack this thing. Yes, they do. Remove the filament, power cable, screen, and accessory box from the chamber protective foam. It looks like this gets pulled up. Let's throw this over here. It's a really cute, like, I don't know how well it's translating on camera, but like, it's an adorable sized little printer. Is there XY locks? I don't see. Doesn't feel like there's any locks on X and Y other than the foam. GD has a new printer on Friday. I have the new printer. I have the new printer, but I don't have info on it because I haven't really done much of anything with it. And I also am not able to talk on it. Okay, just screws on the bed, gotcha. Oh, hey Sven! Did we lose me? That was weird. Screen just shut off. I wonder if I have a... I wonder if the power cable is... where are you? Oh, that's the power cable. I don't know what would have caused that. I like that it really looks like a finished product. Yeah. Oh, it looks like pretty much all sheet metal. It's really what it all is. Okay, let's see, what are we doing? I know that someone mentioned removing the screws, but let's just see what the unboxing instructions look like. Remove the foam. There's no mention of removing those screws. I see arrows, so similar to, I'll show you right now, but it's the exact same thing that like, I think that K1s do that. I know that Bamboo is probably one of the first manufacturers I've seen that with bolting the CoreXY downward, but there's little arrows, so typically that's going to be for 3 screws. Can we see that? Kind of, yeah. So let's remove this whole thing. Come out, yeah. That's kind of interesting. It's the bed on here has got a hey man of the croc. Thank you for the donation. I can't see what the box says, but we'll do a squirrel. I had to remove a lock. Yeah, so this is kind of neat. I don't have any issues with regular powder coated PI beds, but you've got this like fancy lip here that makes it a little bit easier to grab in place. Okay, so screws we need to remove. It looks like it is going to be these little silver ones, and it looks like it's probably 2 millimeters. It is. Okay. 1 screw out. I'm just gonna turn this like so. Come on, buddy. There we go. Hey, PF! Big managed key has the heater in the enclosure. I'm curious to see on this new printer, and again, I don't have any info I can share until they launch it, but, and I actually have not actually tested it. They sent it pretty late, and I let them know that, hey, I've got other stuff I've got to finish before I can start dabbling with it. But the Q1 Pro, which is their last release that I tested out, there was a lot of good stuff with it, but the biggest issue I've ran into was inconsistent first layers because of that, hold on a second, do I have a magnet? Because of that heated chamber. Basically, if you don't preheat it before you do your Z offset, it will give you a bad first layer. And the issue I ran into was, I'm trying to think exactly, it's been a little bit, it was basically something along the lines of, if you run a print and you, well, let's say you run a print that was like ABS or something like that, and you have the heated chamber on, and the mesh would work okay. But when the print was done, if you fired off another print instantly, that's when I was having issues with the consistent or inconsistent first layer. So I feel like that can be fixed fairly easily with, I don't know how much of it was related to the inductive probe having issues, or if it was just that the bed was actually, or the bed slash frame was expanding so much from the heat, but basically some kind of a dwell on print start, if you're using a heated chamber, probably would fix that. I can't get this last screw out. Come on. I don't really want to throw this thing on its side. I think I got it. There we go, I got it. Why Phillips screws? That's an odd choice. Yeah, it's interesting. So the actual screws they want you to remove are not Phillip heads, but yeah, I see that they did use Phillip head screws for the rest of it, which is kind of interesting. Actually, they used it for the entirety of the printer, which I agree wouldn't have been my first choice. I'm not a fan of Phillip head. If there's a screw that I strip, it is the Phillip. So as far as setup goes, I don't think there's really much else. Let's see. We've got to, we got to attach, so let's see. There is a filament runout sensor. I'm sure it's just, I'm sure it's just your standard, like on off. I don't think it has any intelligence to it. And flats are the devil on small parts. I've never used the chamber in the Qidi Plus 3. You can add the delay in the G code for the chamber temp. Yeah, I know you can. I've seen it. I've seen it in starting G code for Clipper printers. Basically, like it's a if statement, like, you know, if chamber, or I'm sorry, if bed is above 90 Celsius, then basically stay there for a set amount of time. All right, so direction wise, this should go, I would imagine, yeah, flat side up. What's with CoreXY's and bad spool location? I think it's a lot of monkey see, monkey do. That would be my guess, that it's a lot of monkey see, monkey do. It definitely feels like with a lot of 3D printers, it's kind of like, what are other people doing? Okay, let's take this idea from that and this idea from that and just kind of do that. That's the vibe I get. You know what? Let's actually take the back panel off this. Since this is going to be a quick assembly, since there really is no assembly, let's just take a quick peek under the hood. Now the question is, do I have a Phillips head? Ah, this might work. Let's see. Yeah, this will work. Let me zoom out a little bit. But yeah, I definitely am not a fan of back mounted. I don't really care as much on the on the bamboo printers, since they have the AMS option, and that's my favorite form of loading, is front loading like that. But if you're not gonna have that, which I get that, you know, not everyone can have that, is side loading is so much better. Hey Joe, I added a chamber thermistor just so I could add a heat soak. Nice, to the start G code. So is your heat soak then, since you have a chamber thermistor, not a timed thing, or is it a combination of like wait till chamber temp reaches X value and then soak for a certain amount of time? Or is it just, you know, basically stall until chamber temperature reaches that certain value? Why isn't my nose today always so itchy? I almost always print from a dry box because humidity is not fun. Where are you out of? I've been lucky that's not a huge issue, but with some filaments it is. Oh, cool. This is pretty much everything. That's a really big controller. I wasn't expecting that. So that is not at all what I was expecting. I wonder, it certainly doesn't look like the SKR, or not the SKR, but the boards I've been seeing. Hot, humid, Gulf state. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I would probably be doing the same thing then. Okay, so our power supply is a, excuse me, is a 350 watt, 24 volt. And our controller is, yeah, just substantially different than I was expecting. We've got 3 drivers. So I'm assuming that's gonna be ABZ. We've got 3 motor connections. This is the extruder connection, so I am thinking that maybe there's a Toolhead board. Yeah, there's definitely a Toolhead board. So that's why we don't have the stepper over here for the Toolhead board. Oops, sorry. This is 24 volts in. This is our Z switch. What is this? Silk. I don't know what that stands for. There's a Silk. We've got, let's see, the chip is a T113S3. An all winner. And this is, sorry, I know my head's in your guys' way. Notion, I can't really read that. And this looks like this is our, potentially our Wi-Fi chip over here. Huh, this is interesting. I was expecting just to see sort of the standard, board that we've seen a lot of other companies use by MakerBase, but I don't know who manufactures this or if this is their own thing that they're making themselves. So it's very large. I mean, again, I don't have much scale, but like this is probably the largest controller I've ever seen. Like this might be larger than the Kraken board from Big Tree Tech. Not in like length, but definitely in this. I mean, let me grab, like, do I have a little ruler? I do. This thing's, it's a monster. There's not a whole lot of connections, which makes me feel like they didn't really optimize space on it, but it's like 100, looks like 120 millimeters, no longer than that. Maybe 125 by God, sorry, I'm hitting the camera a little bit. By 145 approximately. It's definitely a big, it's their own custom controller. Okay, well, that's kind of cool. I got to give them props. Well, everybody has really just been sort of using existing manufacturers out there. It's kind of neat to see something different. I'm glad we at least cracked this open momentarily. And there is at least a small, you know, fan that's blowing across the, what I'm assuming are TMC probably 2209. So there's a lot of empty space on that board. Yeah, there is a lot of empty space on this board. I agree with that statement. Let's see, this is going to be going back on here like this. Did I screw that up? That doesn't seem right. Is that right? That doesn't seem right. That has to be right? I thought that before I was able to access the screws on here without having this off. Did I mess something up? No, this is not right? This feels wrong. It's not. This is backwards. There we go. I was like, this doesn't. There we go. Now we're right. Okay. It doesn't feel right. Okay. Now we can see our stickers and everything. Or at least we had a flood. Oh, that's right. You need to try everything. Lost 4 rolls in there and water and cardboard. I did see that you posted that. It was last week, right, Lisa, that you had the flood? Was it weather related or was it something with internal plumbing? I totally forgot that you had posted that. Yeah, weird choice of going with Phillips head screws. Is that just common basement flooding because of it being so, I mean, low under the house? That's, I guess that makes sense. If there's water that's going to be going towards the direction, that would be where it would go. Hey, Kenneth. We don't have, I've never lived anywhere with basements. Like California, nobody has them. And in Idaho, I mean, we have crawl spaces here, which was not something I'd ever seen before, but I don't know anybody with a basement. I like the idea of a basement. It seems like a cool place to have like a workshop or, I don't know, hang out. We live in swamp, and the sump pump. Oh, that sucks. Okay, now we can attach our. You're in Jersey, right, Lisa? I'm pretty sure that's what you said before. Up north, it can be garage basement. Hey, Jesus. Happy Wednesday. I think we'll probably, the last thing we'll do before we turn this thing on is just take a quick look at the tool head. Pretty sure I just tightened these up and I'm redoing it for no reason, but oh, that one's a little loose. Okay, flip this around. Oh, this one does look like it has little cubbies for carbon in the back. Hey, Red Sky. Oh, Central New York. Okay. I love my full basement here in Colorado. More room for printers. I wonder what is it mostly basements are for places that have just naughty weathers, like a shelter type thing, or is that the primary reason to have a basement, or is there something else? Okay, so this has, looks like switches on the side. I'm trying to get this so you guys can see it. Switches on the side. Nope, that didn't do it. How does this come off? Okay, that did do it. Okay, so we've got what it looks like a 50-15 for our layered cooling. And then I kind of want to take these top screws off here. It's a really bizarre, I'm gonna get you guys lower to take a look at the hot end. Does it just pull out? No. Maybe swap out. How does one replace the hot end? Insert filament, install screen, unlock build plate. There is an Ethernet port on this for anyone interested in that. Just trying to see, how do I, before, I don't see any instructions on how to remove this. I don't want to break it. Colder areas have basements for some thermal and put all mechanical in the basement. So frost line for me is, gotcha. So it's the frost line that runs super low. Storm safety and more square footage. Push the tabs on this. Oh, those tabs were for the derp. I thought the tabs were for. Let me bring you guys down so we can all look at this. I thought those tabs were for the front cover, but I guess they're maybe the hot end release. Oops, here we go. Itchy nose, itchy nose, itchy nose. There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna lift this out of the way, but someone's saying just these two tabs here are to release the hot end. So let's see if that does it. Pull tabs. Oh, dude, neat. All right, so that's the replacement process. And it's a pretty interesting looking hot end. The heatsink is really, really small. Super fine heatsink. Hey, Viking. Can I take this cover off? No, this is not a sock. This is an injection molded cover on it, but it looks like it has your electronics inside of this injection molded shell. As you can see, we've got our connector here, so I'm assuming probably 2 of them are for the heater, 2 of them are for the thermistor, and then it looks like plated copper probably for the nozzle. So definitely a unique thing. They decided to do their own thing. Yeah, not a sock. Definitely hard plastic there. So there's a layer cooling, not a layer cooling fan. There's a heatsink fan located right here that you can't really see, and then I'm assuming this is our extruder housing, which is just a injection molded housing. Can you adjust? I think there's a slot. It looks like there's an opening right here, so I think you can externally adjust tension if need be. So if you are, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong though. I'm pretty sure that's a tension screw. Can anyone verify that? I know that some people here might have one of these printers, but there's an external screw here that you can use to adjust tension if needed. 0.6. You're saying this is a hardened steel point? No. No way. No, it says 0.4 on the front of it. I don't think this is hardened steel. It's definitely a 0.4. The actual unit itself says it, but it doesn't look like hardened steel. So to reinstall this, what do? I just shove it back in here. Oh, that's all you do, shove it back in, it locks right in place. That's kind of cool. I get it, like generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of proprietary stuff in general, but if you are buying into Flashforge's ecosystem, that seems pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Do we want to take the top cover off? I think maybe we do. I just want to peek at the Toolhead board. Let's see if I just take off these 2 top screws, if that'll let us do that really quick here. Brass for both factory nozzles. So it's a plated brass then? Because that's definitely not the color of a brass nozzle. 0.6 is included on the M5 Pro. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So the Pro version, in addition to the actual printer upgrades, they do include a 0.6, sounds like hardened steel. Okay, so these 2 screws, oh, there we go. Oh, this is kind of held in place with another screw in the back. I don't really want to get too deep into it. This should give us most of what we want to see. I can't get you guys any higher than this, unfortunately. It doesn't seem like. Yeah, so Toolhead board is mounted on, I kind of like the way they have this set up. So you've got the connector on the back. So it's not actually, I wonder what sort of communication protocol they're using. Because it's not just a breakout board, since they've got a TMC driver on here. And what is that right there? Is that must be the MCU right here. I wonder if it's USB. I mean, I guess we could probably check in the config, since I think it's running Clipper. Am I mistaken? I'm almost positive it's running Clipper. Hey, Danny. 0.6 hardened. I got one from Amazon for 40 bucks. Okay. Hey, AP. Why am I sitting here thinking I need to order a Modix? That's a big printer. So yeah, it's basically, if you needed to replace something on here, it doesn't look that difficult. So 2 screws gives you access to the board. All the connectors are like sort of your standard, what are they, JST XT, or is that the small one? The standard size JST, like they're not small, so these would be easy to crimp and replace. They're full size connectors. Yeah, nothing too, like, I don't know. Toolhead seems pretty nice. I like that it's easy access to the board. I mean, I've seen some pretty poor, like, you can tell that accessibility is an afterthought for a lot of manufacturers, but this seems pretty easy to self-service if need be for whatever reasoning. Did I line this up correctly? I don't know that I did. I don't think I did at all, actually. Hold on here. There we go. XH, okay. So there's XH, and then a step down from XH is PH, and then what's below PH? It's clipper without fluid, windmaker, or fluid. Wait, it's clipper without fluid. You said twice. This runs on clipper or something else. I think it's clipper, and like I'm almost positive it's clipper, but I don't know like what. I don't know the specifics of that, so we'll see. Okay, cool. So this, yeah, this is just magnets, tabs and magnets to take this thing off. Hey, Lair. Happy Wednesday. Okay, so this is back on. All right, let's finish getting this thing assembled. If there's anything else anyone wants to see on it, let me know, but I feel like there's not a whole lot of stuff we kind of haven't already seen. It's, oops. It's driven by linear rods. So there's 2 linear rods for X and then a single on each side for Y. It's not cantilevered. It's single motor driven for the Z, but you do at least have lead screws and linear rods on both sides. Can we see on the bottom whether it's all? Yeah. So this is kind of what I was expecting, which I don't for, especially on a budget printer. I mean, it's similar to, it's the exact same thing like as what Bamboo and a lot of these manufacturers have been using, which of course I would prefer to have an independently driven like multi-motor Z so you can tram the bed. But as you can see here, you've basically got your one motor, which is right here, sticking from inside outward. And then you've got your tensioning mechanism, and then that motor drives the 3 lead screws and smooth rods. So this is a much better design than like the KP3S budget CoreXY we looked at, which was just a single motor cantilevered. This will at least give the bed much more rigidity. So thumbs up for that. As far as like budget CoreXYs, this is exactly what I would want to see if I had to choose a single motor setup. So bottom is exposed. Yeah, that's not super uncommon though. I mean, I guess a cover isn't a bad idea, but it's the same, if I'm not mistaken, it's the same on the X1 and P1, and I've never had an issue with it. It looks like there's standoffs for a bottom panel. Yeah, it does look like there's standoffs for a bottom panel. Yeah, all around, you're right. There is totally standoffs for a bottom panel. So. Whoa. The handles on the bottom are nice. Oh yeah, what do you know? There are little like grabbing points. Okay, let's get the rest of this quickly set up, which I think is basically just plugging in the PTFE group. I think we're really just putting the PTFE tube into the hot end. So let's grab you and shove you in here. Let me follow the instructions just. Okay, we did spool holder, insert the filament guide to the extruder, insert the other end into the filament sensor, which is right here, like so. Boom. Okay. And then install the screen. So the screen is going on the front top right here. What are the specs on the bed? As far as like build size or what? It's a 220 I think it's 220 in all directions. I know it's 220 by 220. We were just looking at this. Yeah, 220x, 220y, 220z, if that's what you're asking. Specs on the bed is 100 Celsius max, 100 Celsius max temp, according to the specs, and it's a magnetic powder coated. Is it dual sided? Probably not with that cover on it. It is dual sided. Yeah, dual sided PEI. I hate these stickers, man. They never come off. It's doing all right. So they usually don't come off very clean for me. Let's not tear our little ribbon cable. Dude, this is stuck. This is stuck a lot harder than... you get a lot for the money. Yeah, it does seem like a... Cost? Oh, cast? I doubt it, no. If I had to guess based off what I'm seeing here, they make it a little bit tricky to see... hey, Nexus. They make it tricky to see because there's a big plastic like bezel around the entire thing. So they make it hard to see because of that. But if I had to guess based off of these, what I'm seeing here, it's like your standard thin aluminum build plate. Probably reinforced. I mean, this plastic probably reinforces it a bit, but there's likely some other stuff underneath it that it's bolting to. And then I think I would imagine it's going to be a DC bed, right? It's a 350 watt power supply. And I would think that's probably enough. That would be enough to power a 220 by 220 bed. I don't think it's an AC bed. I could be wrong. Someone correct me if that's the case. I would suggest washing the flex plate. Okay, I don't have. I've got hand soap up here, but I don't have Dawn. I might just hit it with IPA for this first print and hope for the best. And if we have, excuse me, if we have adhesion issues, then man, my throat. Then I will run downstairs. So it looks like there's a USB port on here for a USB camera. So I take it you can probably upgrade or add a camera on here like what's included on the Pro version. What's the orientation for this? So it looks like facing this way, LCD this way. And this is just a awkward. I can't even tell if that's in or not, but how does this lock? I thought it was a... Okay, it locks upwards, it looks like. Or does it lock downwards? I'm gonna just try to not focus on showing what I'm doing here and try to get this installed because it's kind of awkward. So it wants to turn sideways. I mean, maybe it's easier if I actually meet it instead of trying to turn it. Oh, there we go. I think. So it's the opposite of what it seems like. Okay, so upwards does not lock it in. Upwards actually releases. Let me do this one more time here. It probably says this in the instructions and I just needed to read, but so you put insert. Oh, shit. Come on, ribbon cable. Okay, I think I got it. So yeah, I was under the impression that like upward was gonna lock it in place, but it looks like you need to latch it from upward to downward like that. Kind of awkward. And then this attaches just via. It just slides in. LCD. It does show a picture of it, so that's on me for not reading. Okay, so it just gets pushed in, then slid to the left. But where? Is it these little pegs right here? No, there's gotta be these big pegs up top, right? Yeah. Okay, we're in. Yeah, it's a little awkward. Little awkward. There's also, this is kind of cool, which I guess for transferring files over. There's a full-size USB port on here, so if you're going to be printing over, like locally instead of over network, then that's at least nice. Not a fan of micro SD cards. I actually quite despise them. And then last thing is input voltage, 100 to 120. So it doesn't look like we need to switch anything as far as voltages go. So let's just power this on. I will really quickly just hit this, I even like this, the retaining, I like retaining clips on beds, but some manufacturers have done a pretty bad job with them. So this one, you have a retaining, like, I don't know, section, or I don't know what we're calling it, retaining clip isn't really the right word, but a little retaining section on the left and the right. So it slides in, the edges of the bed just go underneath it, and then it locks right in. So this seems like a, well, let's see how much, it seems like a pretty decent design, I guess is what I'm saying. Some of them are quite difficult to align. The frame is cool under the Y-rods. Under the Y-rods, the frame has a channel for easily running cables between the front and the back. Is it, you talking about this? You talking about this section right here? I think that's probably what you're referring to. Is this, there's a direct way. It'd be easy to add some lights or something like that to this. I wish the bamboos were higher. Oh, you're talking about the tabs? Yeah, I complained a little bit about the retaining tab on the A1 Mini. I mean, with enough just familiarity with it, it became not so bad, but initially it was a little awkward and I found myself constantly missing when I was just quickly trying to align it. Okay, let me see if I've got even a napkin up here. We've used so many of my napkins. I don't have any napkins. Got a dirty microfiber. I'm not sure how effective that will be at cleaning. We could try it. I'll try it. It's not real dirty. I think I wiped off a little dust with it at some point. So let's just hit this with a little bit of isopropyl. I will very likely end up later today giving this a wash with just a drop of Dawn dish soap in the kitchen sink. Does a really good job of removing any sort of manufacturing grease or oils that have gotten on it. Okay, turning it on. You can see from the ribbon cable for the display. You can see from the ribbon cable. Oh! I get what you're saying. So how did they... Gotcha. Yeah, so they routed the ribbon cable down here. And okay, yeah, no, I see exactly what you're saying. That is a really nice path to route some cables. All right, so... Language. Printing preparation. Please confirm all packing materials are taken out. Printer needs to be calibrated. Please ensure the heat bed is unlocked. Shouldn't be, yeah, heat bed is unlocked. We did that. All right, boop. Wi-Fi settings. I'll do Wi-Fi. Let me put in my stuff real quick here. I use Dawn power wash bottles for my, oh, that's a good idea. Dawn power wash bottles. It sprays nicely. I can picture what that is, but I don't think I've used them. Oops. I did have, let me see, let me enter this in really quick here. I like the screen on this better than the... I like the screen on this better than the T1 that we looked at last week. Hey, clown. I do the belt tension to spec with cool tool that Modbot did a video on. I will have to play with print settings. Oh, what printer are we talking about? Are you talking about, I feel like you might be talking about the Enderwire? Isn't Dawn Power Wash just IPA Dawn in some water? If that's the case, it sounds... Connection failed? What the? All right, bear with me. Did I enter the wrong password? I don't think I did. Okay, that worked. It's possible that I goofed. I don't know. Okay, oh, V0.2, nice. Yeah, I think it was just me. I likely got distracted. Please open Flashmaker's card of binding the device to the account. Update. Let's update it. Interesting. So I'm gonna download Flashmaker for fun. Not because I really plan on using it. I'm just curious to see like how well. Please restart printer. Like, okay, power cycle it, I guess. Is it like a bamboo handy situation? Is it cloud? My old SSID was FBI surveillance line. That's hilarious. It's my my next door neighbor right here. When he first moved in, he asked me like what internet I had, and he said, oh, "Cool, I'm gonna set up mine as FBI surveillance fan." And then, sure as hell, like a week and a half later, I'm looking at our the networks around here, and I'm like, "Oh, he did it." Well, that's a cute jingle. Still you, yeah. My password is password123, all lowercase. Okay, try this again. English, yes, yes. Oh my god, dude. I need to just set up a separate network for streams. Not that it's a big deal, even if you need my Wi-Fi password. It's literally the only thing it's used for, but I should probably just set up a dedicated network for streams. That way it can literally be password123, or just for, I don't know. Feels silly every time I turn the thing. All right, let's try it again. Third time's the charm. Password my rules. Smash the like. I need to make it like smash the like button or something like that. Hey, Petty. It takes a little while to connect. I feel like it's gonna error out. Why is it taking so long? Come on! What the dude? All right, so I'm convinced now that there's like a bug that requires you to enter it in twice, maybe, because it did this last time, and I don't think I entered it in wrong again. Hardest part about this build or this assembly is getting on your network. Come on, dude. Is it 2.4 gigahertz only? I don't know. Does it say? I don't see it on the product page. It's possible that it could be, but I've got that. There we go. 192.168. Let's check. 192.168.105. What was it? 168. I wonder if there's a port. Yeah, I can't access anything from 192.168.105. Excuse me. Yeah. Does anybody know what the port is? I'm curious. We can play around with that, I guess, a little bit later. But I assume there's a port that will let us get to the web interface. Anyways, we'll move beyond it. Open Flash Maker. So let's see what this app is all about. Flash Maker. Doesn't have great reviews, but that's okay. No, there is no web interface. Interesting. No web interface. Okay. Do we know if there's a way to install said web interface? Have a wife says all printers and put them on one network. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, Lisa. Okay, so just quickly installing their app. You don't have to do this. I just really want to see. FlashMaker like to send you notifications. I don't want any notifications. I don't have the register, of course. Just curious to see what this looks like. Verification code, great. Enter password. Code 490591. 490591. Register. Cool. All right, let me quickly log in. Password, yada yada. There we go. We're in. Okay. So let me back off just a little bit here. Not sure though. There is a full Clipper firmware on their site, I believe now. Sick. Okay. I mean, we'll use it as is for now. I don't particularly care all that much right now, at least. Okay, so we're gonna scan QR code. Cool. Adventure M, dope spawner, great. Device bound successfully. Cool. You can see my account has popped up on here now. So it is a cloud thing, I'm assuming. It looks, I mean, I don't know how many ways you could really do this, but it does remind me of Bamboo Handy. So we've got, we can see our temps, we can set our temps. I assume that if there was a camera, the play button would show me it. Adjust fan, adjust light if there was a light. And then it's got some details about the printer itself. I would think that maybe you can start a print from here, but I don't know. Yeah, it very much reminds me of the Bamboo Handy app. You can unlock it via USB to install missing UI components. Sweet. Okay. All right, let's go through the setup. So home's pretty damn quickly. That is a lot faster of a bed movement than I'm used to. Okay, so it's heating the platform up to 60 Celsius. No lighter camera, but has buttons for it. Is it sold separately? It's reversible as well. That's cool. I imagine it must be sold separately. I mean, I think that the 5M and the 5M Pro are basically the same thing under the hood, just with some different accessories. So I imagine that. Nero wasn't impressed that main sale wasn't there. Yeah, I get it. I also see both sides of it. Like if this is meant to be sold as a beginner 3D printer for someone that just wants to get the printer and print, I understand not having it just be readily available. It's super easy to screw up something in Clipper if you're not paying attention. That's interesting. The bed uses a large ribbon cable. I'm not used to seeing that. But as long as it's accessible, I suppose. Same boards on both, better to have the app overbuilt. Looks very similar to the Creality app. I don't know that I've used the Creality app. I think I have, but it's so full. It was so full of spam, if I remember correctly. let's see if we go, let's just go really quickly here. Do they sell? Yeah, so the camera is 35 bucks. You can buy it right there. They sell an enclosure kit for $40. So you are also able to enclose it. I imagine this requires you to still print the corner pieces, but they give you like panels, chains, looks like new top pieces, all the screws that you'd need. Yeah, so it's still, you still have to print all the pieces, kind of like the P1P was, but at least you do have the option. I don't see, let's see, beds, extruder assembly, $22. Plate stickers, filters. I don't see a light. I assume that it's probably just gonna be a standard LED light. You can probably pick up like daylight on a stick or like a strip of just, you know, your regular LEDs with adhesive backing and probably plug that right in. It doesn't look like they offer a light, but yeah, you can definitely get the camera. So for anyone that wants a camera to monitor, it's $35, and then you still have to print out all the parts, but the rest of the hardware is 40 bucks to enclose this thing. So not bad, honestly. Nozzles are 40 bucks. Maurice, welcome. Thank you for 14 months. So what is it doing? It is rubbing the nozzle on the very back. Printer is under self-detecting. It may take several minutes. Okay, so I think it's just basically cleaning the nozzle. So it must nozzle. I didn't see. Okay, so this printer uses load cells for leveling. They're very similar looking to what the K1 and K1 Max uses. I see 3 of them, it looks like. Definitely one in the front left of the bed, one in the front right of the bed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I see 2, 3, 4 load cells, I think. Looks like all 4 corners have a load cell. I added an LED light on my, okay, yeah. I figure it's just, I would imagine it's a standard. Do you know if it's a 12 or 24 volt? Probably 24 volt, right? I just printed a sweet watch box with my Galaxy Black ASA that I won on stream. Nice, that's awesome. So yeah, nozzles are kind of pricey. I mean, it's not nozzles, I suppose, right? It's the full, so yeah, that is, so it's doing a mesh. Decently fast mesh. Looks like maybe a 5x5. Yeah, 5x5 mesh. 24 volt, cool. So yeah, nozzles look like they're approximately 40 bucks, $35 to $40. It looks like 0.2, let's see, is there any info on it? There's no info on the nozzle on this page, but if I look at the, if I look at this, the 0.25 and 0.4 appear to be, they look like plated copper. Someone said they're brass, so maybe they're plated brass. And these two look like they're hardened steel, but I just don't see any mention of them being hardened. There's like no text down here stating that. This is for a different printer, so. Yeah, it looks to me like maybe 0.6 and 0.8 default as hardened steel, and 0.25 and 0.4 are some kind of a plated nozzle. Ramon! Plastic lovers, welcome, happy Wednesday. That's why I was happy about those side channels earlier. Yeah, side channels seem very handy for being able to run things like LEDs. Okay, so now it's doing input shaping. I didn't see an ADXL on the Toolhead board, but clearly there is one. So it's running input shaping. It looks like input shaping is going to take 5 minutes. Enclosure kit is only 40 bucks. Yeah. That seems pretty dang fair. Although you do have to print out, it looks like a quite substantial amount of parts. Like I did with the P1P and the vision enclosure. It's still cool. Like the fact that you can basically, the only thing it looks like you can't officially upgrade on this is the auxiliary fan. But it looks like there's mounting holes on the bottom, so I wonder if you can somehow source it and make it work. Touchscreen. Wait, why is this one expensive comparatively? Is that really the price difference? 300 to... No, that can't be right, can it? Okay, yeah, I was like, that doesn't seem right. 469. It would be cool if they sold that fan as an upgrade. I would say plastic is more of a necessary evil for printing for me. I think Stephen Poole has one in his, is it a plus version? Is it this version that he has, the pro version? Oh, you can't see, I didn't realize it. Sorry, we're doing more input shaping stuff, but I didn't realize I wasn't screen sharing. Yeah, this also seems like a really good deal. They asked me which one I wanted to look at, and because there's just not nearly as much competition that I really think are viable options in this price range, I was more keen to try the lower priced version. Sweet, we got 135 people here. If you have not smacked the like button, please do. Takes just a second and is always appreciated. Have we really been live for over an hour? I don't understand. The beginning of the streams just fly by in a blink of an eye. Okay, this is saying 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the vibration compensation, and then it should be good to go based off what I'm seeing here. Is that a half a kilogram spool? Is that a half kilogram spool in the video? What do you, is that a, do you mean on the, I don't know what you're referring to. I punched the like button instead of smacking. Does that affect the efficiency of the like? Yes, punching is always preferred. Punching the like button. Let it know you mean business. If it prints well, this might be a real bargain for $300. Yeah, that's my thoughts too. I've gotten, I mean, I know Zombie has the pro version, and I've heard feedback from a few others that I, trust their feedback, that it's always, I always tickle it. that they've been pretty happy with this. The initial thing was when they reached out to me, which like I mentioned earlier, I think was late last year when they were working on releasing this. It felt like everybody was releasing sort of their take on a bamboo printer, and based off the specs, I'm like, okay, well, I don't see anything like too special per se that makes it stand out from the rest. But specs only tell part of the story, and how they implement it is really what matters. There's been there's been so many printers that have come out where looking at the specs, you're like, oh, this thing's gonna be just like the bomb. And then you're like, wait, firmware is broken, they didn't understand what they're doing with the hardware. So it seems like from the initial look at this, that Flashforge sort of just kept it simple, but not in a bad way. Like they didn't try to do anything really groundbreaking with this, which seems like that was the goal, but they've got their own controller. Wiring seems clean. Things seem to be supported relatively well. Like if someone said, Daniel, you have $300 and you need to build a budget CoreXY printer that has at least some margin on it, I don't know what I would do differently than what's in front of me right here, honestly. Bed supported on all sides, powder coated flex plate, load cells, direct drive with some kind of a filament runout sensor, linear rods. I just, initially I don't have anything really bad to say. Other than the Phillips screws. I don't know why they went with Phillip head screws, man. I don't know if they were like, hey, we can cut an extra couple dollars if we use Phillip head screws, perhaps. But yeah, Phillip head screws is an interesting choice. Okay, so it wants us to print now. I don't really want to use what they sent because it's just such a little amount of filament. Let's see. Why don't we just do, I think I've got some Creality Hyper Series coincidentally on the ground right here in front of it. So let's just do that. It's a little bit more, it's still a high flow PLA. So if they've sliced anything for a high flow PLA, it should check those boxes. I think we'll do that. So please load the filament according to the instructions. Cut the filament at a bend. Pass it through the filament sensor until it's seen from the other end of the filament guide tube. Insert the filament into the feeding roller. Okay, so just load the filament. Pushing up, going through the sensor. Why are we not going through the sensor? There we go, we're going through the sensor. Going up. Going into the tool head. Okay. See if I can give you guys a little bit of a better angle on this. They got a deal on the fill. Yeah, they must have been like, hey, we'll buy like, I don't know, 10,000, probably more, but we'll buy 10,000 Phillip head screws and save. I would like to know. I don't actually care that much. I don't prefer Phillip head screws, but it would be interesting to know, like, in that meeting, who was the one that decided it and was there reasoning? Okay, so filament's in there now. Click load. So now we're preheating to 220 Celsius. More onboard memory. Okay, that's one thing you're saying. What is the onboard memory? I think I was able to see that from the app when I selected it. Let's see. If I go to device and I click on device and I go to here, nope. Device name, position, calibration. I swear I saw. I thought that I had seen where it said the memory. Okay, now it's loading. Yep, it's loading. Settings. I don't see it. Were they self-tappers or machine screws? Self-tappers are much easier to come by. They were machine screws with Loctite on them. Yeah, they're all, I don't think they're self-tappers. What I pulled out the back was, looked like a machine screw with Loctite on them. Controller needs more RAM. Okay, gotcha. So you're saying the controller is a bit weak. It's a pretty large amount of filament we're extruding there. Okay. Phillips, my beloved. Hey Liz. Okay, let's see what's happening next. Let's bring it up. Oh, so when you were saying more memory, you weren't actually referring to, sorry, you weren't referring to like physical storage memory. You're talking about RAM. Printer's first poop. It's tight when you unlock it. It's tight when you unlock it and start running UI, etc. Yeah, if it were me, I would definitely want to do what, like the steps to basically get the Clipper backend. But for the sake of right now, I don't care that much. Print. Okay, so it automatically loads. Oh, it just straight up goes into a cube. Doesn't give you an option. We are printing a cube. It says like it or not. That's your first print. So it looks like sensorless homing. Definitely sensorless homing. I do like how quick, look how the bed, it just freaking goes up so fast. That it goes up really quick. Gotcha, not storage, so it's the memory that it needs more of. Okay. I recommend printing the stylus after that print. Really comes in handy. Really? I don't, like, I felt, when I entered the Wi-Fi password 4 times, it felt like it was fairly responsive to just finger touch. Last week we unboxed the FLSUN T1, and I felt like that screen was much harder for me to navigate with my finger. That one could probably benefit from a stylus. I don't think this comes with any flash drive or anything, does it? Nope, it doesn't appear to. So I don't love that. So it seems like for the slicer, you'd have to go to their website to get it. I don't love that. I don't mind it so much. I've got computers everywhere, but I can see someone being like, hey, I don't really want to have to go on a website and download a thing. It's a small detail, but maybe it's just mine then. My screen can be a little temperamental. Huh. I mean, I'm not saying this is like the top tier screen by any means. Just that for a $300 printer, like, it's one of the better screens I've used. Like, the King Room one was awful. That one absolutely needed a stylus. And then the T1, I don't want to say it was awful per se, but man, using the keyboard on it wasn't fun. Wow, it's already laying down material, going back and forth. 4 times? All right, we're off. Didn't have us set the Z height at all. How's the height looking? It looks decent. I don't really have any complaints with that. Let's see, what can we adjust from here? So it tells us the speed. We can adjust temperature. Can we not adjust C? Sound off, filament detection off, factory reset, my count, settings. I don't know that we can baby step. I see that there's a manual move option, Wi-Fi, cloud connection, leveling. Oh, it looks like you can do a PID calibrate, which we haven't done. Please pause the print, okay. Yeah, I don't see an obvious way to baby step. You can, Michael's saying. I've not had any Z leveling issues. Under advanced or something. Okay. Maybe that's what this is then. If you look at, I'm just gonna show this really quick. If you look at the menus, there's a, so let's go home. Home will show us, like, this is the current active print menu. It looks like under the gear icon. No, this wouldn't be baby stepping because this is, we certainly don't want to baby step 10 millimeters. Oh, here we go. Maybe? Edit? Yeah, sick. Okay, you can totally, you can baby step. Cool. Not saying it's needed, it looks fine, but I like having the option. I don't like being, I love to have the option and never need to use it, but I don't like not having the option, basically. It also does time lapses, which is cool. Well, mine isn't going to be doing time lapses. I don't got a camera, but that's cool that it does time lapses if you have the camera installed. 10 millimeters is not a baby step. That's a toddler step. Yeah, 10 millimeters is a great way to drive your nozzle through your tool, your bed. The newer firmware does PID at the same time you calibrate. That's weird. I just updated the firmware, Hobby. Like, it had me update the second I turned it on, so I don't know why it didn't seem to do that on mine. Honestly, needing a PID tune out of the box is kind of odd to me. It shouldn't need a PID tune, right? Like, the toolhead should be consistent from one to the next as far as the cooling and heater being used, that it really shouldn't need a PID tuning. Honestly, if I had an enclosure on this right now, I would absolutely try to print out the positron parts on it to see how it handles. Would you like a smoothie? What kind of smoothie, hun? You need to grease the rods and bearings. I don't like the jingle it plays. Grease the rods and bearings. The x-axis does feel like it could use. Y feels like it's got enough grease on it. Peanut butter or fruit and juice. Can we do fruit and juice today? I feel like a fruit smoothie more than a peanut butter. You can turn the beep noise off. I did see that. Let's turn the beep noise off. Yeah, that was a 3-minute print. That was very fast. Where is the sound? Ah, cool. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty damn good. Let's see how close I can get y'all. So first layer looks good. I mean, you can see the textured PEI pattern, which is what I like to see. If I go like this with my finger, I don't feel any elephant's foot, which means that we're not too close, which is good. The layer lines, like as far as the walls go, let me see if I can get the light to hit it correctly. Come on, light. They're fairly consistent. They're fairly consistent. The corners of this, I mean, they're not super sharp, but the PA value still seems pretty dang good considering the speeds it was pushing. And then the top, even the top looks pretty good. Like, let me see if I need to go a little bit closer. There we go. So if I hit the light like this, it looks like maybe extrusion could be turned down a little bit towards the edges. Like you can see, right? Like it gets a little bit rough, but the light is really exaggerating that. And if I feel it with my finger, it's not very rough. Like, I mean, it would be a very slight tweak basically to clean that up. Just a heads up, PTG first layer is may need to be adjusted. Mine likes to print too close for PTG. Okay, yeah, good to know. Okay, then Jack time. Oh, Jack's coming up. Yeah, Aaron made, Jackson loves bananas, and so we've had a bunch of bananas, but they hadn't gotten eaten. So Aaron made like a peanut butter, banana, honey, milk. It's called a smoothie, but I guess it's probably more of like a shake, or not a shake, like my dad was calling it a malt. Okay, let's print something else now. Let's get something else that's pre-sliced. We'll do one. That was too fast to call that our pre-sliced print. So let's go here. Our options are mobile phone holder, touch pen. Oh, that's what someone mentioned, probably the stylus, right? A keychain, an ice cream, a benchy, a 14-minute benchy, desk organizer, or a concave dod. I don't know what that is. What is that? Dodecahedron. So we've got a dodecahedron, we got a desk organizer, we got the classic benchy, we got a stylus. Okay, I got two people. Okay, literally everybody wants ice cream. All right, we're gonna print the ice cream. Here we go. We don't need a level, we just did. Okay, ice cream it is. I use PLA Plus, Rapid LED. What are you using? This is Creality's Hyper PLA. I have not ordered this. They sent me like maybe 2 rolls, I don't know, 8 months ago or so. And so for these printers that are shipping with some kind of like high-speed PLA that is just a small amount, I've been using this in place of it. I don't have anything bad to say about it though. Like it hasn't been a bad filament, so. But I'm not using it because I love it. It's just because I have it. Not benchy, benchy. I love me a benchy, but I'm fine with printing some ice cream out. That's because ice cream is always the great answer. Has anyone here had the still? I don't know if it's just an Idaho thing or not. Let's see. The still. Oh, it might be. It might actually be an Idaho thing. Our story, events, joiner, calendar, grocery locations. Yeah, never mind. I thought that this was a. I thought this was. I thought this place was nationwide. It is not. It is an Idaho thing. Interesting. This is doing a different. This was sliced with a different profile then, because it's doing a more of like a bamboo style purge. Well, the other one purged back and forth here. I don't know how many times we counted. Hey, Stuart. Interesting. This is a little bit further away from the build plate. I see some slight gaps in that first layer. I couldn't tell you exactly why. I don't know if they did something in the start G code, or I wouldn't think that 60 Celsius on an open format bed would have a huge impact on like a huge thermal impact on the load cells getting a different value. Try it after selecting the leveling checkbox. You mean a print? Did we break it already? No breaking. My mom, are you full? Yes. Do you want ice cream? Yes. Okay, let's just tell you that anyway. Anyways, if you're ever in Idaho, then this place is delicious. It's called The Still, and they have pretty incredible ice cream flavors. Also, apparently they have adorable shirts with dogs inside of ice cream cones, so I'm a big fan of that. I wish they had flavors on here though. The lineup, is this it? Licking the spoon. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna show you my favorite ones. This one's incredible. Lazy Boy. If you like pecan pie, every bite of this is straight up like you're eating a whole pecan pie in every bite. It's absolutely delicious. And then this one is one of my favorites. So it's booze infused. It's called Nightcap on Eckert, and it's Kahlua, espresso, chocolate cake, and Heath pieces. It is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, they're so yummy. I don't know. My sister-in-law got, what'd she get the other day? I think it was lavender and berries, which was also really freaking good. It's just good, man. I love ice cream. Ice cream's solid. Yeah, anything Heath is really good. I join it, and you came just at the right time for food talk, Zombie. We have not discussed food up until right at this very moment, and it's not my fault that Flashforge decided to provide a freaking ice cream code as their pre-sliced file, okay? That's not on me. They set me up for failure. Also, I'm on Saturday's video, you have a short little segment at the beginning. I am covering the Cyclops extruder for the K1 Max, and as part of me talking about just sort of the, like, me not liking the Creality K1 stock extruder, I talk a little bit about not being able to adjust the tension, but then I'm also going to basically say, you know, Zombie also discovered upon taking it apart that the gears are like only supported on one side, which leads to binding. So I remembered you posted it like, I think it was months ago now, but I took note of it in my head. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I'm gonna link, so I'm probably gonna show a screenshot of your post, which was on Twitter. But as far as linking goes, do you want me to link to your YouTube? Like, what link do you want for the I'll put a link in the description. I assume you probably would prefer YouTube over Twitter. You were there when oh, so that was during your K1C, like, Twitch teardown or whatever? Hey, Nomads! I talked a little bit about the positron build, either YouTube. Okay, I'll do YouTube then. I'll put your YouTube channel down there. Yeah, Nomads, we talked a little bit about the positron parts because I've been printing them out on this FLSUN carbon, but I just haven't been really happy with the quality of them. I don't fully understand what's going on. Some of it seems cooling related. Some of it seems like maybe there's a partial clog. I don't exactly know, but I've got a lot of the parts printed, so at least I have something to use. But I ordered a new spool of the cookie CAD stuff because I'm gonna try to reprint all the parts. I recently purchased an extruder to complain about it. You purchased an extruder to complain about the extruder that you purchased, or you're saying that you purchased an extruder for the K1 printer? You don't have the K1 anymore, right? Yeah, for some reason, Nomads, I don't know what's going on, but a lot of the parts, especially anything. So if the hole that I'm printing is facing downward, right? Like not like this vertically, but horizontal, no issues. But for some reason, the vertical holes are just not looking good. And I haven't really had issues previously. This is on the FLSUN carbon behind me. I am going to be swapping, like I'm doing a video in 2 weeks time on a bunch of mods for the FLSUN carbon. Quite a few of them are just cosmetic stuff, but I will also be upgrading the hot end to a different E3D one and the extruder gears over to, I'm pretty sure I'm upgrading the extruder gears to Big Tree Techs. So we'll see if that corrects it, but I don't know what's going on. When the new filament comes in, I'm going to throw it on the FLSUN T1 and see how that turns out. But yeah, I want the parts to look good. Make sure to account. So I talked to Steve a bit about this, Nomads, and I'm not going to scale. I'm not planning on scaling the positron parts. I didn't end up doing it with any of the Prusa parts when I rebuilt them for the MMU3, and I had no issues, and Steve said that he did not scale any of them and there were no issues from it. So I don't know, a 0.2, like, so I mean scaling by 100.25 is such a small scale that I'm not convinced it would actually do a whole lot in this case. Cookie CAD, it is Cookie CAD ABS, and I do think I remember you saying that, and I have not dried it. So maybe that's the case, dude. Maybe it's just a matter of moisture. I don't know. I really don't know. What I'll probably do then is I've got a brand new spool of the Cookie CAD ABS that I ordered from KB3D showing up tomorrow. So maybe tonight I will throw this spool of Cookie CAD into the poly dryer, and then tomorrow I'll use this, because I still have like half the spool left, even after all my shenanigans with it. I will try it on the FLSUN carbon before upgrading anything and see if that makes the difference. So yeah, we'll see. But I do remember you saying that. Oh, I normally do 100.5. That's right, you did say that. Positron parts should be scaled for Polymaker ABS or ESA. My profile worked great. Yeah, I don't know, Zombie. I've heard so many things. I've done scaling in the past. I have, like, on a couple builds. And I did it initially on the MMU3, but then when I went and reprinted everything, Steve was like, I'm telling you, you don't need to scale it. And I didn't scale it, and it's been, you know, it's worked great. So I don't know, man. I'm almost finished with my Hexatron. Nice. I saw you mention the other day that there was going to be like 18 positrons at 3D Printopia. PTG Rock is my pain in the ass filament right now. Oh, Overture PETG Rock. Gotcha. Yeah, it is really nice looking, Ken, in person as well. I don't really want to show these prints as an example because they're just not really pretty, but like here's their, this is one of the parts for the positron. It's like their unicorn. So it's got, you know, like purple, kind of orangey, a little bit of blue down there, or pink, purple, orange. Like they're really pretty. They're pricey, but they're definitely nice looking. So, and then I'm going to be laser cutting the top panel for it in another sort of pastel color, so it should look, it will look really good. Not should, it will. Yes, Mandic did. He did a V0.2, and that would have been in April. He brought it to Rocky Mountain Rep Fest for Cookie CAD. That was the first time I actually saw it, and yeah, I love it. When I scale my prints, I'm like 50-50 on if we should pre-scale. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm a bit torn on it too, whether you should or should not. I have an issue with my printer, like it's printing and all, but it sounds like it's rubbing against the previous layer. Oh, I think Jack's gonna be here. So if you're having issues where it's rubbing against the previous layer and it's happening during your infill, which it most likely is, switch your infill up. I've had issues with that too. I would try either gyroid, usually doesn't have that issue, or rectilinear usually is okay as well. But yeah, I used to use grid a lot, and I also have experienced that rubbing. So that's probably what it is. I would just change your infill type up. If your tolerances are set really good, you shouldn't need to scale. Yeah, I think that definitely, the scaling gives you a little bit of wiggle room for maybe some tolerance issues. I didn't scale my MMU3. Yeah, I think a few people that were in the MMU build said they hadn't scaled it. Jackson? Yeah. Okay. What's up, Jack Attack? Smoothie. Jackson. Yee! Is that a smoothie for him too? Yes. All right. Smoothie boy. Uh-oh, hold on, Bubby. Oh, no. Sorry, everyone. All right, Jackson has come to say hello. Jackson, who's that? Okay. Look it, up there. That's a baby. What is it, baby? Cheers. Cheers. Try your drink. Mmm, that's yummy, huh? Try yours. Try your drink, baby. Here, cheers. No, cheers, that's mine. Cheers. Try yours. Hey, yummy. You wanna say hi, Jack Jack? What, baby? New stuff Daddy's got today? Huh? It's really good, yeah. What'd you put in it? Strawberry banana? Like, you just had a bag of strawberries and needed fresh bananas? Nice. Glue stick? No? No glue stick? TPU foot? I took the blade out of this so you can play with this. Look at it. Jump, 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 jump. Jump, 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 jump. I just got new industrial grease. Lisa, hi Aaron, you have some handsome boys there, she says. Thank you, Lisa.
I'm hardly walking this room, but...
I saw your grease gun, Nomads. I still haven't even used the one. I haven't even used this one. This is the one that I got that Mandic was using. I haven't used it yet. We haven't really needed to grease any rails. Although we probably will for the positron, and I've still got my big old thing of mobile grease. Hunter the Great. So is the printer good? Well, I think it's too early to say whether the printer's good, but as far as their spec choice, what? Okay. As far as Jackson moved the camera. Sorry, y'all. As far as the spec choice and the initial impressions, this is by far the best. Like, I can already say out the gate, this is by far the best CoreXY 3D printer I've played around with, anywhere around $300. So, Zombie, thank you for the $1.49 and the banana. Isn't there a knife on that? No, I took the blade out. Yeah, I wouldn't have given him a blade.
He smiles.
Yeah, no knife. Look at that. Jump, 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 jump. Jump, 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 jump. Yeah, thank you for asking. Have you tried removing the hot end? Yeah, I did. It's really cool. What do you want, baby? I don't know what that is. Speak it. You want... Oh, you want to press the buttons? Yeah, you do.
Look what you said.
Hold on, I'm gonna let him play at the stream deck just for 1 second, y'all. Oh, you changed the scene. Change it back, baby. Here, press this one right there. That one. This one right here. Press that one. Nope, that's the wrong one, baby. This one. There you go. That one. There you go. Oh, that's that one. Try maybe that one. Right here, this one. There you go. There you go. That's the one they want to see. Thank you. Good job, baby. Yay, you did so good. Good job. All right, you can go back to mama. Enjoy your smoothie, your yummy strawberry and banana. Oh, nope. Sorry, Jackson's on the camera again. There you go. Oh, heavy boy. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, smoothie's delicious. And you produce, yeah. I said as soon as he's old enough to man the camera, yeah. I'll be like, then I'll have someone to blame if the shot doesn't look good. How user serviceable is it? So, yes and no on that. Like, I showed earlier, okay, it's a couple things. One, the nozzle hot end thing is proprietary, right? So, does that mean it's user serviceable? But, let me go back here really quick. So if we go here to accessories and we go to these, so you're looking at approximately $39 for replacement hot ends. And that includes your nozzle, your cold end, your hot end, the thermistor and heater, because it's all inside of here. There's basically a little plug that when you slide it in makes contact with the toolhead board, and that's your thermistor and heater cartridge. So it's not as cheap, I don't think, as the bamboo ones, but I still consider that quite fair. The toolhead board is easy to access. There's basically 2 screws on the top that let you reach it. And if you had to do anything with wires, they're just standard, oh God, PF Dennis said it, JST XH, I think is what he said. So they're not like they're really small wires. The tool, or the controller itself, is their own controller, but it's got a lot of space, and it's accessible from the back. You don't have to flip over the printer, which is really nice. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not using a lot of what I would consider off-the-shelf components, because that's not really what it's intended to be. But I think that accessing anything on this will be night and day easier than what we experienced when trying to replace the bed cable on the X1 Carbon just a few weeks ago. The SV08 tool changer is interesting. I would have gone with a custom Dragon Burner or shelter head. Interesting to see how well the SV08 tools work out for him. He hasn't actually done, I haven't really been following the project, but I did look the other day. He hasn't actually done a tool change on it, right? I know he's using the stock SV08 tool heads. If it ends up working out decently, I would like to probably perform that mod as well. I have the SV08 just sitting on the ground right now in the corner of the room, and I don't necessarily need a large CoreXY printer, but a tool changer project does sound pretty fun. How about the gantry? So it's mostly I mean, this whole thing is like injection molded parts with sheet metal, like bent parts. It's all linear rods. I mean, I would say it's as good as any CoreXY that I've seen out there as far as serviceability goes, you know? It's certainly not like a Prusa when it comes to ease of use, or not ease of use, but serviceability goes, but I don't think that they've done anything to make it extra difficult on the end user. Build plate's 220 by 220. That's the build volume, 220, 220, 220 on all sides. Hey, Dutch! I'm back in Netherlands from the States. How was the event? I saw you posted a couple of photos. It's still very in development. I've been paying okay, gotcha. Yeah, I like sort of sped through their his last video, and it seemed like he was working on some firmware stuff. I think he was talking about the crow's nest, which is like the USB Toolhead board that lets you connect up to maybe 5 Toolheads or 5 USB boards to it. What speed is it on? This is pre-sliced, and it's definitely pre-sliced much slower than the initial one. Let's see, info. Settings. No. I know I was able to see the speed. Maybe it was under advanced menu. Nope. Nope. I don't know. I don't remember where the heck I saw it at. It's got to be here somewhere. Info. This is it, right? Okay, so we're going at 82 millimeters per second. We're not going fast. 82 millimeters. I don't know why they sliced this at so much slower than the... I don't know why they sliced this so slow. It definitely could have been printed much quicker, but I guess it'll give us an idea of sort of what quality can be achieved, since this doesn't have, this only has the 5015. It doesn't have the auxiliary fan like the Pro version does. Which 3D printer would you recommend? I don't think that I could, wait, Crow's Nest isn't what I'm thinking of, is it? Is it Crow's Nest? I'm thinking of the Toolhead board, or not Toolhead board, I'm sorry. God. Isaac's Crow's, is it Crow's Nest? Clipper. I don't think that's what I'm thinking of. No, I'm not thinking of Crow's Nest. That's the webcam. No, I'm thinking of Isaac's Place. No. Nope, that didn't come with the right stuff. Isaac Place. Bird's Nest. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Bird's Nest. Bird's Nest board. That also came up with not what I wanted. Clipper. Why is it coming up? Isn't the guy? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, that took a lot more work than I thought. This is what I'm thinking of. This is the board that he shows off. Basically, it lets you connect up to 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 6 USB boards to it. So, open source USB hub PCB design for tool changer 3D printers and USB toolhead PCBs. Yeah. And there we go. So, but yeah, when you asked me which 3D printer would you recommend, I started talking and then stopped. But I can't answer that question. It depends on so many factors. Like, you know, what's your budget? What do you want out of a 3D printer? What materials do you want to print? What size does it have to be? Do you care about it being open source or you know, repairability? Is there a specific slicer you want to be able to use with it? There's so many factors. I have a hard time. I just can't just answer that question. I mean, there's no denying, like, I'm a big fan of bamboo printers for a lot of people. I get that it's not for everyone, and that's fine. But I think that in general, for people that don't care to mod and just want to print for projects, like, I think that they've proven themselves to me over a couple of years now. But there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of printers that I use that I like. So I can't wait for tool changer kits to be a thing. Yeah, you and me both. Oh, neat. You're doing a stealth changer, Nira? Oh my God, your kid's in pre-K, zombie? Oh man. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. And I will see you. I'll see you in, like, today's Wednesday, so 7, 8, 9, like 9, 10 days? 10 days? You said, I'm just a beginner, too many words. Well, if you want a CoreXY, this seems like a decent option for $299. If you don't care about having a CoreXY, which is basically just this motion system, which probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you, honestly, if you're just starting out. Another option is the A1 Mini from Bamboo Lab. I don't know if they're still on sale, but they were on sale at one point for like $269, which is a pretty killer deal for such a capable machine. How much are you right now? So 349. Oh man, it's literally 200 bucks. Yeah, so if you don't care about having a CoreXY printer, then if this is $200 right now, this is a fantastic it's a fantastic little printer. I can't believe it's $200. I thought it was $3. We got 3 of them. Yeah, it's a really, I mean, man, I'm not even a fan of cantilever style printers, generally speaking, but it really won me over. It really did. Totally random. I'm just checking to see. I know that the federal, if you're in the US, the Federal Reserve is meeting today, and it's supposed to be the first time they've lowered the Fed fund rates in 4 years. So I'm trying to see what the update on that is. See if they lowered it by 25 basis points or 50 basis points. Bamboo Lab is very popular and recommended. Yeah, I mean, not everyone likes them because everyone has opinions, and that's fine. But if you're not looking to really mod the printer and you just want to get into 3D printing to like learn, like to print things, learn about 3D printing as a whole, build projects, like I mean, it's hard to go wrong with one of those. Federal Reserve, yes. U.S. economy stuff. We bought a house. We bought this house earlier this year, and the interest rates are higher than I would have liked. So it's as part of one of my like guilty, well, not guilty pleasures, but constant things that I'm monitoring is the state of the economy and the mortgage rates, because ideally we'd like to refinance sooner than later. 300 it was with the AMS. It looks like with the it looks like with the AMS it's 349 right now. I have a 3D pen. Man, yeah, okay, it's printing faster now. So now we're up to 150 millimeters per second, 200 on the outer perimeter. I'm sorry, 200 on the inner perimeter. So it is cranking up speed a little bit now. Mortgage rates are coming down in Canada finally. Man, quite a few of my coworkers live in Canada, and yeah, the housing situation up there looks absolutely rough. Only get a Bamboo if you don't need to study the inner workings of the printer. That's fair. We bought our house in May of 2019, so we didn't pay way over market. My house is worth probably 100K more than I paid. Yeah, you did good. We just weren't ready. I mean, 5 years ago, I lived in California and wasn't married, didn't have really the savings. So we probably could have purchased as early as, I mean, right when we moved out here after we got married, we probably could have, but we'd never lived in Idaho. Didn't know if we were gonna like it or hate it. So I didn't want to risk rushing out here, buying a house, and ending up, you know, getting ourselves in a bad situation. But hindsight's 2020. We paid a lot, but this is the house I plan on. I tell Aaron, like, I plan on, you know, dying in this house, but being here for a very, very, very long time. So, oh, they dropped it by 50 basis points. Okay. Yeah, the original speculation was it would only be 25 basis points until recently. Over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of another like economic data that's come out, and so there was a chance it was going to be 50. I'd say that was the highest possibility it would actually have done. So I'm surprised they did it. I paid attention to mortgage rates by how much refinance spam mail I get. That's funny. Don't get a larger printer than you can actually. Yeah, more printer, more problem, Hunter. Generally speaking. More printer, longer to heat up, more expensive. Bed typically is going to warp a bit more just because it's got more surface area to expand. Yeah, everyone thinks they need big printer, but it really, I don't think really A1 Mini is kind of small. I think it's what, 180, right? If I'm not mistaken, 180 millimeters. But realistically, that is sufficient for like 95% of what I print. Everyone's use cases are different though. So like, I mean, I don't know, maybe you're really into cosplay and you want to print out a bunch of helmets, and then yeah, I wouldn't get an A1 Mini, but I would be really, you can split things up to print them in multi-pieces. So yeah, it's easy to look at specs and be like, I want big and I want this and I want that, but a lot of it you really don't need. I don't know how a normal person can afford to buy a house in California. Yeah, that was a big part of why we left. Well, one, I wanted less people, but two, the job, I was working for Matter Hackers and we went our separate ways during the pandemic, towards the first couple years of it. And so that was really the only thing that was keeping me. I was in Orange County, which is super expensive. And so, yeah, I think we were paying at the time around it was like $1,800 in rent for a 1-bedroom, 700 square foot condo. And then we moved to Idaho 3 years ago, and our rent actually did go up going from California to Idaho. But the difference is we went from that 700 square foot condo to a 1,600 square foot 3-bedroom house with a backyard, which would have been substantially more in Orange County. What am I printing? This is an ice cream cone. A1 Mini is awesome, Hunter. A1 Mini is a very solid printer, man. $199 for $199 for a printer that, like, with what it's capable. It's a fairly small investment to see whether you even end up liking 3D printing the way you think you do. And if you do, then great, you can get a bigger printer if you decide you need it down the road. Or if the A1 Mini is all you ever need, then great, you're good. I'm in Orange County paying $3,000. Oh God, $3,000 for a 1-bedroom. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, when we first moved, because Aaron and me, we've been married for coming up on 3 years this next year. We've been together for coming up on 9 years. And so when we first moved out of the Inland Empire, we were renting a 1-bedroom apartment in Orange County, and we got a really good deal on that. It was like $1,450. And we were there for a year, and then we stayed in the same complex but moved to a 2-bedroom, and that jacked our price up from $1,450 to $1,950. And then we moved from there, which was basically by South Coast Plaza, then we moved to Lake Forest, and that's where we got our small condo, which was really nice during the pandemic. It was kind of a quieter area, and there were really nice walks around, so it was enjoyable. I had to upgrade to a Mercury 1 due to a print not fitting on my Ender 3. My Micron is the same build volume as my Mini, and I rarely need to use any of my bigger machines. Yep. Again, everyone's different, but generally, I remember a long time ago, when I was working at Matter Hackers, Ultimaker came out, and Ultimaker was doing, I think it was a product launch meeting. I was on the sales team, and they were talking about Cura, and like Cura, depending on if you like opt in or opt out or whatever, they collect some data, like some basic data about things that are sliced. And I think that they said that the average, if they average all files sliced in Cura, the average print size is about the size of a fist, like an adult fist, which I get that doesn't really tell you a whole lot, but it's not massive. So, I mean, yes, there are people that are printing bigger, there are people that are printing smaller, but that is your average. Hey, Keek. We need to open the giveaway, don't we? It's been 2 hours. What are we doing here? All right, we're gonna give away a spool of Polymaker filament in 30 minutes. I am going to be pasting the link in the description. Also, thank you to everybody that has been using links in the description when purchasing their filament. We've gotten a few orders in, and I mentioned last week, it really does help the channel. Okay, cool. Pinning message, there we go. You think you don't need a big printer until you have one. That's why I still have my Ender 3v2. I enjoy upgrading, tuning, and tinkering. That bad boy after 300 SP pushing. Yeah, I like both. I mean, I see both sides of it. I like, and then you want a bigger one. Which is fine, but I mean, you know, the way I see it is, when I got into 3D printing, I didn't want to spend more than I had to. And I think that at $199 for the, that, or if you want a CoreXY, this guy even at $299, but that's not a huge investment in, a technology really for most, that should give you at least enough of an idea. Like, you can learn and do a lot on it. And if you don't end up sticking with 3D printing, well, hell, resell it, you're out a little bit, not that big of a deal. But you can still learn so much on a machine of this size, then ultimately decide whether you need to upgrade, If you have a V0, you want 350 millimeters and vice versa. Yeah, grass always looks greener, right? How walkable is the area you are in right now? Oh, you mean living-wise? Pretty walkable. We've got, like, I'm in the suburbs. We've got sidewalks everywhere. There's not really great bike lanes, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, there's sidewalks everywhere. Could I walk to, yeah, I guess I could walk to some stores. I think I'm like, how far, hold on, let me just check here. Like the grocery store we go to, we do walk in the, so yeah, the grocery store we go to is 3.7 miles away. So I could walk it. I don't typically walk 3.7 miles often, but yeah, it's definitely walkable. It's really pretty, actually. Our street is a new community. It's just like 33 houses, but right behind our street is an older community. Not old, but established enough that trees are big and there's a lot of landscaping and stuff. And so we walk there fairly often during good weather. A couple times a week, I'll take Jack for a walk. So yeah, it is walkable. My house is 600 square feet, 4 bed, 2 bath, and my mortgage is, whew, your mortgage is a fraction of ours. Ken. Yeah, this house is it's a 4.3 and it's 22,280 square feet. The mortgage is more than that. The mortgage is more than that. The rate we were able to get was 6.65, which was a lot better than the 8 they locked us in at initially. And Discord Mobile has a channel with all the... Yes! Yeah, so I did finally add a channel to the Discord with some affiliate links. It doesn't have all, like, most companies have affiliate links. I really just put, I think, like 8 of the companies right now, but I may expand on that in the future. But yeah, if you are looking to purchase something and you want to support the channel, if the manufacturer or the product can be purchased from one of the vendors in that channel, it does, a few percentage of that goes back to the channel, so it helps, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's never required by any means, but if it's always appreciated. VZBot is one of my biggest printer footprint wise and one of the smallest. Yeah, VZBot's a big footprint, especially in the back, man. The way the power supplies stick out, and it definitely is. Is there an enclosure kit for this? There is. It's $40. It does require you to print out quite a bit of pieces for like, oh wait, maybe this already has the curved sides on it. Maybe it doesn't require you to print out quite as much. Accessories. So do you have to print all this out? Because it has... Yeah, I think you do have to print out quite a bit. So the $40 basically gets you your panels. I think we looked, it gives you all the screws that you'll need. And then it has like a, oh yeah, cable chain set up for the toolhead wire, so that way they're not poking out. Oh, here we go. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, drag chain clip, tools, screws, extruder, top cover. I guess that's right, you need a new top cover because that probably, the drag chain clip, I would imagine, bolts onto that, and that's what attaches it all. So yeah, I'd say $40 and maybe a kilogram or 2 of some filament. I'd love to live in a place like that. As far as walking, Oh, you're in Brazil. What's the reasoning? Is it like a safety? Or I'm sorry, I don't know if you mean like size-wise or if you mean walking. I don't know what that was in response to. Oklahoma has a low cost of living. There's something about big old... Yes, I've always been a big like outdoors and nature person growing up. I mean, my mom's from Sweden. She grew up near a lot of forest, and my dad also just always been a big fan of like the ocean or just nature in general. And so growing up, we spent a lot of time like hiking, camping, stuff like that. And as much as I do like all this tech stuff and my job requires me to be in front of a computer like nonstop, if I'm not doing that, I love to be like outside in around nature, trees, plants, like animals. Like that's my happy place. So that's probably a big reason why I've sort of been so keen to dive into gardening now that we have a backyard. Is I really find it rewarding, and I just find it really rewarding and kind of peaceful, like growing your own fruits and vegetables. It's I don't know, it makes me happy. Idaho used to have a pretty low cost of living. It's not the case anymore though. Yeah, it is cheap. Yeah, $40 seems really fair. I think our rate was 3.8%. Yeah, based off when you bought it, 2019. I assume you probably refied, right? Because I know that rates were down to like 2. They were as low as like 2 and some change at some point. I'm so glad that I left California when I did. I grew up in San Francisco Bay Area. I moved from a 1,300 square. I can't. Why is this doing this? Hold on. There we go. I grew up in I moved from 1,300 square foot, paying 600 a month to 3,000. Oh my God. Yeah, it sounds like you did good. What state are you at, Akik? Red flavored ice cream. This is hot tamale ice cream. Is it real Clipper? I don't exactly know. There's no web interface, so it's like a headless Clipper, but it sounds like there's a mod or something you can do to basically add the things that they didn't introduce. Why are there no written instructions for the switchfire enclosure? Does their enclosure come with instructions? I don't know why there's no instructions for the switchfire. Does Flashforges come with instructions? It sure looks like it. I don't know if this is just made up, but it says installation guide for the enclosure kit right here, so I'm assuming it does. Need to print more trees. I wonder what layer height it's printing at. That's a good question. It almost looks like variable layer height. Down low where the cone's at looks like 0.2, then higher up it looks like 0.1. It's not doing a fantastic job with overhangs, which is a couple reasons why. One, it's printing pretty quick. Two, it's only got the 50-15. And three, I think because of how fine, like overhangs usually do a better job when you have slightly larger layer height. And if it is a 0.1, it would make sense why the next layer doesn't really have much area to hold on to because it's such a fine layer. It's speculation, but I think that that's probably a 0.1, maybe not 0.1, maybe 0.15. I wish it told you. It's a good question. As far as, okay, landscape security and nice places to walk. My area is walkable in theory when it comes to distance, but the area is sadly trashed and, that sucks. Yeah, we've got quite a bit of, I mean, this area is getting developed very quickly, even in the few years we've lived out here, but there's still quite a bit of open, like lots of open land. There's still like, we've got cows and horses and stuff around us, which I personally am a huge fan of. Blue is the best flavor, prove me wrong. No, that was a purchase. Our credit scores were in the 750 range, so we got about the best rate. Okay, gotcha. Thankfully not gonna get mugged here since crime is low. I'd probably run into trash. Yeah, trash sucks. That definitely is something I don't like to see. California, I mean, all over the freeways, they're just freaking crap everywhere. Hey, Phil. Just finished my Voron 2.4 and I love it. How do you like your newly built Voron? Wait, what newly built Voron? You mean the Trident? Oh, what? No! No! I did say that when this started printing, the first layer looked like it was further away. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, quite a big difference. Where did that cube go that I just printed out? Oh, here it is. Yeah, just to show, I mean, so if we look at this, this was, why are we not, okay. This was our first print, right? And if you look at the base, like it's got nice even texture as far as the powder coated PEI pattern. Then we go to this one. Look at that. Not even close to the same. You can see the layer lines being laid down. So I saw right when this started printing that it was definitely not the same Z height as the at least the ice cream didn't end up on the floor. That'd be a real tragedy. I saw right away when this started printing that it wasn't as squished, which maybe I should have stopped, but I didn't. One thing I am curious about is if we click, I think this was mentioned by someone earlier, is the Z offset off. Z offset should be automatic with this, since it's load cell. It should be setting it automatically, or not need much at all. But the thing I want to try is when we hit print on this one, we didn't click the leveling checkbox. So I'm curious if the leveling checkbox is the yeah, okay, see, that's what Hobby's saying. Use level before print. So I'm wondering if it's only storing like that Z offset if you run the leveling before it. So let's cancel this print. Z offset might be changed in G-code also, which is entirely possible. I know that on the K1, that was a way I had to adjust the Z offset for a while. So let's just see though, for fun here, like let's grab like the mobile phone. This will give us a pretty, looks like a wider print. And then let's click the leveling button and then hit print. I'm just curious to see what, like comparatively, if this looks more in line now that we hit leveling with the first print we did that looked really good, or if it's still going to be too far away. But yeah, Jose is totally right. There could be something in the G-code itself that is affecting that Z offset. And I don't know that because I didn't slice these. So my theory is that maybe it's dumping the Z offset data each print, and then when it runs the leveling sequence, it's somehow grabbing that again. But I don't know. I didn't check the use level every time, but do use it on a case. Okay, so you don't do it every time. I don't know. We've got 17 more minutes, and then we are going to do our Polymaker filament raffle drawing giveaway. So if you have not signed up for that, it's pinned in the description. Is it not 0.25 layer height sliced? I don't think so, no. This doesn't look so it's kind of interesting to me. If we look at this, I don't know how else is going to show up with the light and all that crap, but this to me looks like 0.2. Like if I look at the step basically of the cone pattern, that looks kind of like a standard 0.2-ish layer height. But then once we get up here, this to me doesn't, can I go closer? I really want to get you guys closer. This doesn't look like 0.2 to me. This looks more like 0.1, maybe 0.12, 0.15 at the maximum. And that's also, I think, why we're having this kind of poor overhangs. This is not the Pro version, so you don't have the auxiliary fan, which certainly would help with high-speed printing and overhangs. But something tells me that because this is at a fine layer height, that's why we're getting even crummier overhangs than it would realistically be able to attain with like a standard 0.2 layer height. You need to use your own slicer. Pre-slice could mean anything. Yeah, pre-slice could mean anything. I'm just trying to get... I'm trying to see based off what's here if I'm seeing a pattern. It doesn't have a web interface. Why is there an RJ45 on the back? I have a feeling that their slicer, if you use their slicer, you can do network printing. In the past with Flashforge printers, if I'm not mistaken, that's generally been the case. Isn't it the other way around? Smaller layer height, better overhangs? That shouldn't be the case. As far as I'm aware, it's smaller layer height is worse overhangs. Because of the next layer not having as much to stick onto. I'm almost positive that's the case. Let me just see. Do a quick Google. Larger versus smaller layer height for overhangs. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, you might be. I might be wrong. I don't know the validity. I don't know the validity of this graphic, but this is with a 0.1 layer height, saying that layers overlap by 0.25, 2.5 as much, and a 0.2 layer height, layers are only overlapping by a 0.1 millimeter layer height. But then the first reply says, I generally find that thicker layers print overhangs better. But I think that's mostly due to the cooling mechanisms. I spent ages trying to get those spiral chess pieces to print at lower layer heights, and only increasing the layer height got it nicer and smooth. Yeah, so I'm not convinced I'm wrong. I've always been under the belief that larger layer lines generally helped get you cleaner overhangs. I forgot all the things I changed for this printer. Probing with a new mesh seemed to be a bit inconsistent. Better stepping with smaller layers. I go smaller for overhangs. It would depend on if you're maintaining line width or not. There's theory and then there's reality. There's an Arca slicer that has an 85DM profile that allows you to use Wi-Fi. That's why they used adaptive for the pre-sliced file. Adaptive, are you saying adaptive meshing or adaptive layers? Mm. It would be a fun test to run. Basically, just grab a handful of models, like, you know, grab some that are just like a general overhang, so it's like kind of a fairly standard overhang test, and print it with 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3 layer height with a 0.4 nozzle. And then grab something maybe more like this ice cream cone where it's not consistent walls, you know, they've got sort of more of an organic structure to them, and just see. Maybe I'll make a video on it, man. I don't know. that way I can see, you know, but I always say that there's so many factors involved with everything 3D printing that no matter what conclusion I come to, like, it shouldn't ever be anything more than a data point for anybody. You should always do some of your own, well, one, check out the resources, and two, like, do some of your own testing to verify that it aligns with what you're seeing on your end. Then you need to retune your speeds and fan for each layer height. I don't think I'd want to do that, though. I think that I would want to just have one factor change and see how it affects it without anything else changing on the profile. I mean, it could be a multi-part thing, I suppose. Like this, in this test, the only thing that was changed was layer height and everything was kept the same. In this test, fan speed was increased or decreased. I don't know. I don't see a link for the filament giveaway. It should be pinned in chat. I'm sure there are sweet spots for certain layer height in line with, yeah. Yep, thanks, Zombie. Yeah, it should be pinned in the top of chat. Zombie also just posted it as well. Why are we not printing? That's weird. So this is trying to drop our bed temp down to 45 Celsius, which in my opinion is way too cold for PLA on PEI. So, ugh. I don't usually like using other slicers, but I just really want to see. Can we not? I really want to see what this looks like. Have you tried leveling your bed? Yeah. I'm not using glue with powder coated PEI for PLA, Zombie. That ain't happening, man. I'm sorry. That is not something I'll be doing. Is that the Orca skin slicer? I have no idea. We'll soon find out. I just want to see what the profiles look like more than anything. Oh, it's probably waiting on this, right? No. Does this have multi-machine controller connect machine? Connection failed. Why? The machine has been occupied. Is that because it's mid-print? I'm going to cancel this print. Printing, stop. Yeah, I think it's almost like in a, I don't know if it's in a frozen state. You don't like this software, Zombie? It looks great, man. All right, what do you got? Let's see what you got. Orca Flashforge. What is Orca Flashforge? Perfect. Download Orca Flashforge. Huh, they only have it for firmware. Orca Flashforge. Orca Flashforge. Installation package. we're just installing all the fun slicers. Last week was the FLSUN slicer. This week we've got, wait, did it not extract it? Extract here. Yes. So it's installing it. So it basically is it. I'm curious to see what this looks like. So it's not even called Orca Flashforge. Like it's straight up Orca. I thought they at least kind of like reskinned it, but it doesn't necessarily seem like that. Flash print. I don't know which one it is. We'll try this one. I don't think that was the right one. I think this was probably the right one. Ay, ay, ay. Does the Orca Slicer have a built-in multi-tool support, use prevention? There we go. It could be like Kitty that contributes to Orca project and is built-in slicer pro. Yeah, it does look like they've got built-in slicer profiles. I don't know what I want to print. I'm gonna print a zombie. I'm gonna print your swatch track, man. I mostly just want to see what the first layer looks like if I slice from here. I use normal consistent all the time and I've had none of those issues. Oh, they added native support in real Orca Slicer, but it still causes print pausing. How did I miss? Weird. I must have missed a lot of chat. It didn't show a bunch of. So is this printer worth getting? I mean, I guess only you can decide that. I can't tell you whether it's worth getting. Does it check the boxes of what you're looking for? So I'm not going to be able to. You're saying I cannot input the IP here because of the way it is, since it doesn't have the back end. Yeah, it's not gonna work, is it? Zero backend. All right, so we basically have to manually transfer files, and they didn't give us a flash drive. Come on, guys. All right, let me see what's on here. It's like FLSUN's flash drive. Oh, you know what? There's already. Let's check this out. Export. We already have a flash drive in here. It looks like. Cool. We'll do this. There's a drop down for Flashforge. Wait, there's a drop down for Flashforge. Excuse me? What? Do we want to upload and print? I'm just let's just upload. I want to see. I want to see whether. I want to see that first layer. If we tell it to level, how does that first layer look? Okay. We remove this little bit of PLA. There we go. Okay, we've got leveling check, print, cool. Let's see how this goes. If you sign into their cloud, you can sign in. I am signed into their cloud. At least on the printer side, I am. Yeah, I intentionally use their default profile. I just want to see how the Z offset looks. I want to try it once with leveling and once without leveling, because so far we've done 2 prints and the Z offset has not been consistent between the two. Hey, Philip. No, there's no web interface. Someone did say, though, you can add it relatively easily, but I'm just using it stock right now. What I think I'll do is then, we'll run this box truck twice. We'll run it once, now that I've clicked bed leveling, and then we'll just run it back to back without leveling. I want to see if that Z offset's consistent, because with those first 2 prints, granted, we have no idea whether it was just, there was something in the G code that affected it or not, but I just want to see how well or poorly it seems to be holding its Z offset with the same material from one print to the next. Every time you level, it resets the Z offset from what I remember. Could be wrong. Which is fine, because if that's the case, I do want to reset it because the previous one was incorrect. So let's run this level, see what it does, and then just run it one more time without leveling and see, you know, how close they are or how far apart they are. Oh crap, it's time. 2 more minutes. If you're filling out the giveaway for the Polymaker filament, we're gonna do the drawing in 2 minutes. Also, if you haven't hit the like button, we got 109 likes. Thank you very much. If you haven't hit the like button, smack the like button. See if we can get up to like 125. I know we can do it. I believe. Why did they remove the web interface? My guess would probably be they didn't want people stumbling across it and changing things. Honestly, I did see that Z offset. Oh, we did check that a little bit ago. Yeah, I have a feeling, Vinny, they just didn't want people screwing around with the config and stuff like that. I find my 2.4 holds a great bed mesh. Don't do one unless I change. Oh yeah. I don't mind meshing before prints, honestly. I mind a lot less. I mind a lot less as long as it's the variable mesh, so it's just a really quick small mesh versus meshing the entire plate. That can get old quick. I'm very curious to see how slow you're gonna have to print for your hot end to be able to keep up with that 2.4 nozzle. Also, if it's a 2.4 nozzle, is it a 2.85? I mean, I don't understand. How are you gonna feed 1.75 and expand it to 2.4? 220 for plate Phillip. That's right. You can still come in via SSH. I don't know that that's the case. Somebody mentioned you could install all the missing Clipper stuff relatively easily. I haven't actually looked. I'll do it. One more minute, and then I'm gonna unpin the giveaway in 1 minute, and then give you 1 more minute after that. Flashforge 5M install so. Okay, this is a long time ago, this discussion. Flashforge Adventure compatibility guide is set up. Unofficial mod for Flashforge. When was this released? 5 months ago. This is an unofficial mod to run Moonraker custom Clipper remains fluid on the Flashforge printer and unlocks all the full power open source printer. Clipper mod is designed to be fully removable and not break any functions. If you want to install this mod currently is in beta stage. Download the latest test release. I don't know if this is the specific mod that the other person was thinking of. Gives you Clipper screen too. It's pretty cool. Okay, unpinning the link. So if you're filling it out, you've got another couple seconds here. Hey, Ted. Just fashionably late, man. Fashionably late. Okay. Let me go ahead and grab all of the giveaway names. 95 replies. That's definitely a few more than last week. I see your name though, Ted. You got in. You might have been late, but you still made it. All right. Nice. All right, here we go. 95 names. Awesome. So I know, I feel like a broken record explaining the giveaway every single week, but I know that there's new people every time. So actually, wait 2 seconds here and just see, because we're really curious about the first layer. So let's see if this is with the mesh. Let's see how the first layer looks now. Really tough to see. First layer doesn't look great. This is with a mesh. Like so, bottom right corner, edit. So we want up or down, I don't know. Okay, negative 0.25. Let's do a full 0.1. That might have been a little bit too much. Let's go down. Okay. All right. Looks slightly high. Yeah, it was slightly high. Exactly. Okay, let's do this drawing. I got distracted there. Anyways, it's the saying, I feel like a broken record explaining the giveaway every week, but there's always new people, so it feels necessary. So it's for, the giveaway is provided by Polymaker. If you're in the US or Canada, it is a gift card. Anywhere else, you'll get to pick between a list of their PLAs, ABSs, ASAs, and PTGs. It includes a lot of them, but not all of them. It doesn't include the like specialty carbon fiber, like the Fibrin series and stuff like that, but it's still a ton of different filament options. And I will contact the winner. Usually it's today or in the, later this evening, but within 24 hours, you should get an email from me basically with the link for the form you'll need and the little code to fill out that form. So as always, thank you to Polymaker for allowing us to do this and just being an awesome company. So let's, Polymaker giveaway includes the Polydryer standalone. Oh, does it really? That's sick. I didn't know that. That's what I ended up using mine for. It includes the Polydryer standalone boxes. That's pretty freaking sweet. I'd not heard that before. Okay, let's shuffle this. How many times are we shuffling? Let's do the ranges from 6 to 24. That's our range. 6 to 24. How many times are we shuffling the wheel? We'll go with you, Nira. 19. 19 is what we're going with. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, here we go, everyone. In 3, 2, good luck. I don't know if it's Vasily or Vasily. Vasily? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Vasily, you are our winner. Congratulations. I think that's a first time winner. So yeah, expect an email from me by tomorrow, basically. So there you are. You got it right. Okay, Vasily. Nice. I did get it right. Awesome. So yeah, I will, congratulations, you will get an email from me, and basically it'll just contain a form and then a unique code. Polymaker changed up their, the giveaway form the way it works now, so you'll just need a, unique code that I'll provide you with, and then you can fill out the form, and depending on where you live, they'll get you taken care of. So congratulations, and also thank you to everybody who entered in, and we'll do another giveaway. Yeah, next week I'll still be here, so we'll do another giveaway next week. All right, let's take a look at this swatch track action. We must be bridging, because that seems pretty... Yeah, it's the top. We're bridging the infill. It was going quick, I promise. Layer lines seem really consistent, looking at it from the side, so that's at least cool. And I think this has got to be a 0.2 layer height, right? Standard? Yeah, it is. It's 0.2 standard layer height. Flow might need some slight adjustment, but honestly, it looks pretty close to me. Yeah, walls look good. I agree. Walls look really clean. So strange. I'm finding different filaments slice better or worse in different slicers now with all this. Finding different filaments slice better with different slicers with all the same settings. Something's gotta be different. There's a lot of settings in the slicer, so even if it looks like your basic stuff might be the same, something tells me that whether it's cooling or accelerations or retractions or some kind of unique variable has got to be different. I'm super impressed by this motion system. Only downside is the 220Z. 220Z is plenty Z for me, Zombie. What are you printing, man? You're printing model rockets all the time? 220Z is plenty tall for me. Most printers, I could live with 100 C height. Like, I don't need taller than that. I don't like printing tall generally. I mean, I will, but I'd rather print, you know, low and flat near the bed as much as possible. My Chiron will do 300. God, that's a monster. That is a monster. I wonder what the tallest thing I've ever printed is. I really don't know. Could I give you a TLDR? Yeah, sure. All right, so today's stream, we unboxed the printer. It basically comes fully assembled. The only things you got to attach are spool holder on the back, which is 2 screws, plug in 1 cable on the screen, and it just slots in place, and then literally just Bowden tube and Bowden tube. There are 3 screws that got to get removed from the bed, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Setup is super, super quick. We took the back panel off to take a look at it, as well as take a look at the toolhead. They're using their own custom controller, which is kind of nice. It's just a really big board. Someone gave feedback saying that they feel like it could use more memory, that its RAM isn't as high as it could be or should be. But yeah, nothing crazy about the controller. And then it's got a separate toolhead board, which contains the like ADXL, your TMC 2209 driver, and basically your connections for your hot end. I said that if someone gave me $300 as my max budget and said to build a CoreXY printer, this is probably what I would build, or very, very close to it. I feel like they sort of didn't cheap out on the sections that they shouldn't cheap out on, and they, you know, left out some spec, like some things like LEDs and a camera and the enclosure, which would add quite a bit of cost to it. But the things that you can also, they sell the camera, I think we saw it for like $30, and the enclosure kit for $40. So you can still do those things, but yeah, I mean, bed supported. It's only got 1 motor, which is, you know, so you can't independently tram it. But the bed is supported on 3 sections. There's basically just a belt underneath here that connects all 3 lead screws together. You've got your powder-coated PEI flex plate system that's dual-sided, magnetic, great. Linear rods, I've got no issues with. That's what they're using for motion on all axes. It's direct drive. You've got a basic filament runout sensor, which is nothing special, but it's there for those that care. Yeah, cooling seems decent. It's a 50-15, which is, you know, for a singular fan, for layer cooling, that's not too bad. I don't really have a lot of gripes, honestly. Some people might really dislike that it's using a proprietary hot end type thing, which is totally fine. And you're totally allowed to have that opinion, but I think that a lot of people also won't care as long as they're readily available. Flashforge has been around for a really long time, so I kind of don't anticipate them going belly up anytime soon. So let's see, 0.3 moves really easily. 0.2 moves pretty dang easily as far as tolerances go, and 0.1. Did I hit swatch chuck print again? Did I think I did. Or maybe it didn't, but I just gotta say the Z belt don't slip because it's a huge pain in the ass to just redo it. Just gotta pray. Yeah, I'm not super concerned with the Z belt slipping though. Like, I feel like you'd have to do something kind of pretty silly to make that happen. I mean, I know that Bamboo uses them. I've never had an issue with it. This printer uses it. The Creality printers use some variant of it. X1 printer, or I'm not sorry, Chudy printers use some variant of it. So experience has been pretty good, John. For a $299 CoreXY, like it feels like quite a capable machine. I mean, you've still got a bed that can hit 100 Celsius, which is great if you do decide to enclose it and do some ABS printing. The hot end's all metal, which I know is becoming more and more of a standard, but that certainly wasn't the case for a really, really long time on budget printers. Well, I have to go pick up my little one. Have a great day, everyone. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Kegel. Have a great night. Yeah, I mean, so we saw that the Z offset didn't look great on this. It was a little too far away, so I did bring it in closer, which seems like right about here. We corrected for that for this bottom part. The extrusion might need, I don't know, it's really close. Like, it might need to be tuned down a hair, the extrusion multiplier or the flow rate, but it feels really close. The walls were really consistent. I don't know how well I can show this, but the walls were really consistent walls on these parts. Yeah, it looks like it did a good job. I mean, I've done nothing, right? Like I powered this on and I did tap Z offset twice or 3 times in the panic mode on the last print, but I mean, I haven't done any tuning. This is a stock Orca slicer profile that it shipped with. You know, I haven't done anything. Maybe look at print speeds. What are we doing here? First layer 50 millimeters a second. First layer infill 80. Outer wall 2, inner wall 3. Sparse infill 270. Internal solid infill 250. Top 200. Supports 150. 10K XL for normal printing. Okay, so we're only using 10K XL for travel speeds. Outer walls 5. Interesting that outer wall is using 5 and so is inner wall. I feel like normally outer wall would be a little bit slower and this would be a little bit faster. Okay, so internal solid infill, they do ramp up though. First layer, very, very slow XL and top 2K. Greetings from Portugal. Hey, Dead Ghost. Not a bad deal for a CoreXY. Yeah. The model looks amazing. It must have been designed by a genius. Yeah, whoever designed this Swatch truck. So we'll get this printing. This is just another Swatch truck. I'm just curious to see if the Z offset looks close to what I just set it to. Wait, we're meshing again. Well, the Z offset might be reset then. Zombie wasn't sure, but I should be able to check actually, right? Prepare, okay, I can't check while it's mid mesh, but once it's done meshing, I'll see if I can verify that it should show negative 0.05 if it retained my Z offset. Too many people from Portugal. There's never enough people from Portugal here. We'll take all the Portuguese people in this stream. Yeah, we'll likely get this started and then probably end it fairly soon. We're at the 3-hour mark and I want today to be a short stream. I want to relax for a little bit and I've got a pretty massive video to edit and project to start on. And next week we're starting on the LDO positron build, so I've just got quite a bit of prep for that. Has Nappin been here today? Yeah, Nappin was here earlier. Oh, I should do a wellness check. Yeah, Nappin was here earlier. He came in and he either asked me if I'd broken anything yet, or he asked me something, one of his usual, you know, one of his standard remarks. All right, we're almost at temp. It's really weird. It heats up. So it does a mesh at 60C by default, but then it has it set in the slicer to 55C for PLA on the bed, so then it has to stall and drop down. I gotta change the profile to be 60. There's no need for it to heat up for a mesh, then cool down for a print. Sounds like, yeah. Very on brand for napping. You winning? Winning what? Well, I might have wished for a Python. A Python? A Python as in the Python mod, or a Python as in programming language, or a Python as in a snake? There we go. So this one goes back and forth like, no, 4 times. Or all the above, yeah. You want a printer mod and some programming language and a snake. This looks better, so this thing makes me think it. Cool. So it does not. When you mesh it. Sorry, this is a little loose. When you mesh it, it still retains your previous Z offset, which is good. So it kept my 0.05, and the first layer is looking much better. Let's see if I can get you guys to see it. Yeah, it looks much better. I could probably even back off a hair, but it's so close. I'm relatively happy with it, and it looks like it only lets you adjust on from here in 0.025 increments. So yeah, this looks pretty good. We're joking with the Portuguese word boa. It means good in Portuguese. Portuguese word boa. It means good in Portuguese. Huh. Yeah, this little guy boogies, man. I really think I'm curious. Hey, Zombie, have you by chance done any flow tests, like max flow tests? I'm curious what the what this stock hot end is able to reach. Because right now it definitely feels like the biggest limitation of this printer is probably cooling. I wonder if the 5M will retain the Z offset after a power cycle. We can check. Or I mean, I don't know if we'll do that. We'll check. The fact this is so cheap is nuts. Yeah, $299 is. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, this is by far. We've looked at I think 2 other CoreXY printers that were in ballpark this price range, and this is like, this just like it's way better. This printer is $299. I don't remember, probably as good or better than a Bamboo. Yeah, it's $299, which is super affordable. It looks like the Flashforge 5, or their generic profile has ABS volumetric speed set to 25 cubic millimeters a second. If it's able to actually hit that with a stock hot end, I'm pretty happy with that. It looks fast because it has a default stroke point velocity of 25, so it teleports around. Yeah, it does look like its travel movements. Freaking boogie. I spent $1,500, I think that's euros, on the X1 Carbon plus AMS. X1 Carbon and AMS is a freaking sweet combo though, so. I wouldn't choose this over that. But if you don't have the budget for that, then this seems like a fairly viable option. It's not that loud, man, compared to our F1 last week. Let me open the app again that I used. Let's see if nope, that's not the right app. What app did we use last week? I think it's this one. Noise Islam. Yep. So from about a foot away, That's 61, 62 decibels, which is actually louder than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be quieter than that based off what I'm hearing compared to what we heard last week from... Yeah, approximately 60, 61 decibels from about a foot away. So I guess not quiet, but it's all... Last week we looked at the T1, which had the freaking CPAP running at 100%, and that thing was brutally loud. So to me, this sounds very quiet, but I guess, you know, it's all relative. You see taking off? John? Who's taking off? John. Oh, I have to leave. Have fun, everyone. A few years ago, this would have got you something like a king room, but yeah, I know. It's nuts, man. Thanks for stopping by, John. Best part of the T1 was that it had a Snorlax. Yeah, but that was funny because the Snorlax was named Cat. They sliced it as Cat. It confused me because I asked what everyone wanted me to print and everyone kept saying Cat. Or a few people said Cat, and I didn't get it until I did. Oh yeah, with an enclosure, this would definitely quiet this down. Absolutely. It did the same on the T1, but the you know, you can silence a screaming banshee, and it's, or you can add an enclosure to a screaming banshee, and it's still a screaming banshee. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the T1. To me, this is not bad as far as noise goes, but I know that noise is such a, like, everyone has their own levels of sensitivity. All right, I think we're gonna call it. I'm gonna take a break and go hang out with Aaron for a little bit, and then I gotta get into editing mode and then printing out stuff and just doing a few stuff around the house. So thank you everybody for hanging out. This was a smooth stream. It really was a smooth stream. And of course, like, this is too soon to see how this machine will hold up. And we've only ran, you know, a few pre-sliced models and some swatch trucks, but I from testing printers over many, many years, you can tell a lot about a printer pretty quickly, like pretty early on. Sure, there are things you can't. Like, I'm not saying you can see everything, but there are definitely things early on you're like, that seems janky, or that's this. This feels like a very solid deal for $299. And yeah, I'm hats off to Flashforge so far, because what I've used that's in this price range, that's CoreXY. I mean, I'm not talking bed slingers. There's some great bed slingers you can get for, you know, this price point or even less. But for a CoreXY printer, the stuff I've used that's in this price point has been really rough and half-baked. Well, this feels like, yeah, they took things out of it because they had to make it that price point, but they left the things that seem to really matter. So yeah, I hope everybody had a good stream. Stream next week. Yeah, I don't fly out until next Friday for 3D Printopia. So I'll be here next Wednesday. Should be the same time, so 11 or 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then we're gonna start the LDO positron. So basically, we'll get it unboxed and we'll start working through the first section of that build. So go be a husband. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out and for all the chat, for our existing members, our new members, our gifted members, the donations we got in, and as always, thank you to Polymaker for letting us do our giveaway. Congrats to our winner, and I will contact you again either tonight or tomorrow morning early or something like that. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day, wonderful week, and hopefully I will catch you all next Wednesday. Cheers.